Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2020 Swiss Pro Slalom. Oh, my word. Oh, look who I have here. It's Nate Smith. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Tony?
I am doing pretty darn good, I tell you. And you're coming into this event. How's the season gone for you so far? I mean, what with all the COVID-19, the pandemic, and all of that mess?
It's been pretty good. One of the first tournaments we had of the year was over in Australia, the Moomba Masters. So that was kind of one and only big events we had. But, now that skiing kind of started back up, we're here in Orlando, and we got the Swiss Pro, which, started as a small tournament a few years ago, and, now is what we kind of consider one of the largest, most competitive tournaments that we have around the country and world.
Yes, indeed. A lot of people really eye up this tournament at the beginning of the season. But here we are. We're here in October for this competition, and a lot of people didn't think this tournament would ever take place. But I mean, you've got to give a lot of credit to a lot of people for making this happen. Clint Stadelbauer, especially at the top of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole group here at Swiss always does such an amazing job. I mean, the conditions for us are always perfect here. But on top of that, I'm just looking in front here with, Vince kind of leading the way with this webcast. I mean, what they've done throughout the last couple of years and progressed through, making one of the best webcasts in the world that we have. It's just such a great production for people that can't be here, especially in times like these that don't want to travel, can't be here in person, get to sit at home and watch everything.
All right, so typical situation. You roll up on site, you're here at Swiss, you're looking at the wind conditions, you're probably pacing up and down just to kind of get a feel for the wind. I mean, what is typically your like pre-game type, routine type deal?
Pretty much what you just described. I mean, I'll go walk down the lake, watch some skiing, see how it's going, and see where the wind is. And, today we actually have a little bit of breeze here, which is, I've only seen wind here at Swiss only a couple of times in my life. So, I just take in, see how everybody else is skiing, what they're doing, and, go out there and see what I can do the first round.
All right, and we hear the Nautique towboat in the background making its pass up and down. Patrice Legay is going to be at the helm of that towboat. Now, obviously, at high level, slalom skiing driving is very, very critical to one's success, and you must be confident about the likes of Patrice being in that boat and pulling skiers such as yourself.
Yeah, I've skied behind Patrice a fair bit, specifically here at this event, and every year he hasn't disappointed. It's been great driving and great skiing behind him, and we all trust that the drivers in the seat this weekend are doing what they're supposed to do, and it allows us to be at ease with our mind and go out there and do what we need to do to put up the big scores.
All right, let's have a look at the starting list, and this is for the men, by the way. We've got Stephen Nev will get things running. Then we've got Blaze Grubbs, Austin, Abel, Federico Jaramillo, Thibaut Dayon, Jamie Calhoun. Then we got Hunter, Burdick, Meckler, Canepa, Parrish, and Gasperi. I mean, do you see anyone of interest in among those?
I mean, just about everyone. I mean, it's anybody's game at a tournament like this, and everybody's gonna go out there and ski their best. But just like a couple, Blaze Grubbs has been traveling around and skiing big events and putting up big scores the last couple of weeks. So you never know what he might do as well.
All right, okay. Bottom line, right now, what's it gonna take to win score-wise?
Gosh, you never know. You can never put a number on it, but I think it's going to take a deep 41. I think it's going to be anything past 3-ball to win this thing. And, with the way that there's been some scores the last couple weeks, or maybe more specifically the last couple days, this may go into 9.75.
All right, then. So you got a job to do out there on the water. You got a job to do right here, right now, with that ski and with that Sharpie. Bring that to me, Miss Alice. Thank you very much. So, armed with the Sharpie, you've got the ski here, and that's gonna go to the winner of our little audience contest. So whilst we promote that contest again at SwissProSlalom.com, we'll allow you to sign the top of the ski, not the bottom. There we go. Yeah, right there. Right here? Yeah, somewhere there.
The cap off?
Yeah, it would help if you take the cap off. All right, so all right then. Whilst he signs that slalom ski, we thank him very much for availing himself of the opportunity to be interviewed right here. But this is the 2020 Swiss Pro Slalom. We've got our first competitor up, dockside will keep Wade Cox right there on ready standby. But Stephen Neveu on the water right here, right now. He is going to go in, I believe, on 30 meters, possibly. I would find it extremely hard to believe that he would start in any longer than 13. But maybe Wade can tell us what he went in on. Wade, what you got?
So, Regina, got to be one of your favorite places to ski here with that record that you got. So, a little bit of wind blew up. How was it out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good, strong tailhead. It's headwind off the dock. I went with 39 tail, and, I just kind of was like, well, I know I need to get midway through it, just kind of secure a good top four
nicely
to get
done.
into tonight's finals. But, it's Swiss. It's a perfect lake, so it felt great out there. I know the guys are going to start throwing down big scores, too, and we're just all excited, too, to kind of come out and have an event again. Even though we're wrapping up the season, it's just nice to be out here and competing. We're all competitors, so it's nice to get that blood flowing again.
Well, we love watching you ski. Tear it up, girl. Back to you, Tony.
And tearing it up out there on the slalom course is Stephen Neveu. Now, he didn't go in on 14. Didn't go in on 13 either. Went in on 12. This is tactical skiing here, Drew.
Yeah, you're going to see the skiers faced with a variety of options. You're going to see some skiers, like Steven, starting at 12. Another popular choice might be the opt-up, a 13 start and an opt to 38. You might see some of the guys just saying, you know what, I'm going to run that 39 tail. But no matter what, wins a factor in every decision.
All right, let's see that. There we go. Just like that, 12 meters and 11.25 meters, passes that a lot of us out there in skiing land, can only dream of. But it just looks to him, like extremely easy. And he stands at over 6'3".
I think more than 6'5" even. I mean, Stevens, I love the economy of motion here. He's basically so efficient, just almost like a minimalist. The gate is case in point. Steven, knowing that, anything extra is, superfluous, let's just say.
All right. Big behemoth out there, Stephen Neveu. And let's have a look at the rope tension leaderboard for our women. Jamie Bull with 619 pounds, just marginally ahead of Chelsea Mills with 617. Regina Jaquist with 600. Luisa Jaramillo with 597. And Alicia Bagnoli with 582.
Those are some great stats, and HO Sports and 2U Snacks coming together for this strongest pull contest. I want to know whether Regina's going to, now that she's already got a 2 at 41, is she going to try to bust out a 640, 650 just because?
All right, let's see. Be also curious to know how much Stephen Neveu is pulling against that towboat. Just take a look at this. There you go. That's 10.75 meters into a win, and it looks like so far his decision to go in at 12 meters is paying off.
Yeah, and a big commitment for Stephen to be here. Stephen coming from Canada right now, there is a full 14-day quarantine isolation in effect. So when he does return back, he'll be all by himself.
Indeed, it's we look upon the skiing and we look upon the action on the water and try and forget what's going on in the world outside with the pandemic and with the masks and the quarantine and all that kind of stuff. I hope that for some of you folks out there, a welcome relief from all of that. But obviously, got to be cognizant of what traveling is like these days. It's never going to be the same again. There's Blaze Grubbs at dockside. And Stephen Neveu getting ready to come in at 10.25 meters for 41 off. Go vote for your skier of the day, SwissProSlalom.com. Look for vote at the menu at the very top of that page, 10.25 meters. Does he make that play on 2? Looks like our video official's going to have have to take a look at this. So yes, the video assistant official is going to be employed here. Oh, yes, he does get outside buoy number 2 now. Does he get back to the wake in time for the boat guides? You betcha.
That's a good start to the round. 2 at 41 is definitely, going to be in the hunt. I know we're going to see skiers looking for a little more, get out of what's potentially a log jam frequently. With, we see the field getting jammed up at 2 quite a bit. Watch for some of the skiers to be aware of that and know that 3 and beyond is a big deal.
Well, it's better than a poke in the eye with a chopstick, I can tell you that.
That it is.
All right, so Stephen Neville. We're going nuts up here. All right, so that is going to be 2 at 10.25 meters. Strangely enough, the last skier that actually skied before him scored 2 at 41. It just happened to be Regina Jacques, that was all. All right, then, there we go. We got Blaze Grubbs coming in. Yes, it's going to be 32 off start for him. Yep, 13-meter start. That means it's going to put 39.5 off with the breeze behind him. Let's see if he can get there. There you go. Nicely done. All right, and while we look at Blaze Grubbs complete his opening pass, let's go to Wade. Wade, who you got?
Hi, here with Stephen Neveu, first skier in the men's. Hey, not a bad score for maybe your lack of training, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's first tournament set since Malibu Open last year, so it's been over 12 months, and I can feel it out there. A lot of nerves and everything else, but got to get the first one under the belt here and get the nerves settled down now.
So new job, eh? Tell us about that.
Yeah, in the winter I decided time to get a full-time career going of another side gig, if you will. And so started in March, and then the world went crazy, and so just been kind of get things figured out for the last couple of months here. But now I think I finally got it figured out to ski and work full-time at the same time.
Well, good deal. Awesome to have you back, Stephen. Tear it up next round, huh? Back to you, Tony.
All right. Yes, indeed. The adrenaline's picking up, all right, with our skiers that we've seen so far of the women, and we're into our second skier in the men. Stephen Neville, incidentally, pulled 880 pounds of force against that toe line, incidentally. We're going to keep an eye on that because that's going to determine who's the strongest skier. Blaze Grubbs, not nearly as tall, not nearly as powerful, but the finesse is there. You could either run passes and make it look hard or run passes and make it look smooth. And there is
I love the aggression from Blaze. It's almost a feistiness in his technique. Want to point out, Blaze is another skier that will have a go at the U17 World Championships coming up in August. He's another junior skier who's really making a name for himself out there. Great to see Blaze competing here today at the Swiss Pro.
Yep, and he'll be present there for Team USA, I would imagine. I mean, they've still got to go through their selection process, of course, and I don't know whether that's changed between this summer and the next one, because the Junior Worlds were actually supposed to be held this year, but they've been deferred to next season. That will take place over at Santa Rosa Beach in the Florida Panhandle, and that will be covered by TWBC as well.
Blaze is an overall skier out of California, really developing his consistency and prowess in the slalom course of late, with rides regularly into 39, and just seems to be getting better and better. Had a 4, just about ran it last week.
I think he's probably... Oh, whoa! Hold on a second. What happened there? Going to take a look at that again, but, I mean, got into...
There's a situation where you just don't want to underestimate the headwind. You can see Blaze maybe running out of a bit of speed, jumps, attacks a bit on the gate. Bit of an early release and a break at the waist there.
Okay, so one buoy at 11.25 meters for Blaze Grubbs, and settling down among the bulrushes and the lily pads. So Stephen Neville still in the lead, and I think Blaze Grubbs, you know, aside from what he did there, is probably a little relief to be out of California right now, what with all the stuff going on there with the wildfires. It's probably quite difficult to breathe there right now. And just in case you're wondering what this event is, it is the Swiss Pro Slalom there. Patrice in the boat there with that T-shirt on. 450 horsepower, 465 foot-pounds of torque there in that 6.2 liter PCM engine in that Nautique towboat.
Love that bow shot of the ski Nautique.
Yeah, I love that. It's a unique shot. And here are our sponsors. We got Ravenol, we got 2U, we've got Syndicate, Pro Gear, Edge Binding, Shorepath, Denali, D3 Connolly, Aid, and those are our sponsors. We thank them very, very much indeed. I wouldn't mind getting me one of those 2U bars. Have you got some?
Oh, I know. We're going to have to call on an official somewhere to bring us some, Tony. That salted caramel, just trust me on that. Salted caramel, 2U.
Yum. There we go. Our format, 2 rounds, best of 2 rounds. Top 4 women advance, top 8 men advance. And they get 2 rounds, but they need to be cognizant of the fact that, you know, a backup score might actually determine who goes through and who doesn't if there is a tie among the top echelon skiers. And our next competitor is Austin Abel.
So, Tony, you touched on it just to revisit the format here at the Swiss Pro. The entire field goes through 2 rounds. Your best score is going to determine the pecking order. Top 8 men, top 4 women are going to make the finals. Ties will be broken by the backup round.
All right, here we go. This is Austin Abel. He's a tall drink of water as well. He's one of our taller skiers as well. If it's like a perfect tie, then from what I understand, then they all go through. Is that correct?
That's right. So what happens here is your best score is going to determine your seed and your ranking for, you know, developing the list. Ties will be broken by the backup round. If there's still a tie, Tony, everybody's in.
All right, let's hear from Wade. All right, welcome back, and looks like we just had a snack genie come along and deliver some 2U bars. Salty caramel.
Tony, we're going to leave you with the Bananas Foster.
From my part of the world, and from my part of the world, I mean Louisiana. You can't you didn't figure on the Louisiana accent, did you? Anyway, this now is Austin Abel. He went in on 13 meters. This is 12. Not looking too bad. And just at this stage of the game with the opening 2 passes underneath your belt, I mean, obviously the ultimate objective is to get all 6 buoys and run both passes, but beyond that, technically, what are you ultimately searching for as you get to the deeper and more intense runs?
Well, you got to be in sync with the rope, and you got to be able to be moving and running the line that you know is going to be able to take the apex of your turns up to the highest spot on the boat, Tony. Austin's got a nice advantage here. He's I think the tallest skier on tour. Between Austin Abel and Stephen Neville, you're looking at 2 guys at 6'6" and maybe even more in the case of Austin.
All right, so and here we go. We're taking a quick look at our mid-lake crowd shot. Air temperature probably a little warmer than that by now. We're water temperature mid-80s, as is typically the case here in October. And winds gusting up a little bit as well. So you could check out our Instagram at Waterski Broadcasting. We'll be posting some photos along the way. And here we go, Austin Abel, 11.25 meters. Oh, look at this. Riding that Denali slalom ski, which has got a significantly flatter forward body compared to a lot of other slalom skis out there. And, you know, that makes the slalom ski certainly a little bit different in the way that it engages off the turn, Drew. Just take a look at this. Round buoy number 1. Oh, just gets a little bit pitted out in off buoy number 1. Then we see our buoy cam there. Taking a first look at that. But just look at this. Managing the line, or as my good friend Drew would say, regulate.
That is a case of regulate for Austin. He didn't get the start he wanted, but he knew he had to stay with it and just remain organized.
All right, so just keeping things in check. And that was into the wind, by the way, so generating a little bit of slack in there, so that might be a little cause for concern going down the line.
Austin's got his work cut out for him. Coming up, we're going to see the 39 off pass in the tailwind, 10.75 meters, wind at the back.
And no matter what happens, he will be in second place. He actually is in second place after 3 competitors right now. Stephen Neville with 2 at 41, our very first skier off the dock, and 2 buoys at 41 off. Here we go. This now is Austin Abel. This is 10.75 meters. Wham bam. Oh, round number 2 slides down course and will get 2 at 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. 2 at 10.75 meters. And that is Austin Abel. What do you see here, Drew?
Well, not a bad start to the pass, but I think what we're going to see from Austin is he's going to have to revisit his overall plan and try to come up with a strategy that's going to get a better result, because 2 at 39 is not going to find its way into the final here in the Swiss Pro. We've got a lot of big scores coming up, and Austin's going to have to find a way to get through that 39 in the next round if he wants to stand a chance at competing in the final today.
All right, good stuff. As is this 2U bar that I'm about to chomp in on.
Indulge.
Yes, I will indulge. And you can find these 2U bars at places like Circle K and Walmart and all of those fine
Whole Foods, Publix.
Absolutely, all of those.
So I gather Sprouts is now a new account for 2U. It's an all natural bar. It's completely nutritious and completely delicious.
I agree with those.
I find myself
points.
having to cut back, but I mean they really are good.
All right, so Federico Jaramillo with Patrice Legay at the wheel, and it's going to be a 13-meter start. 14 meters. Okay.
Had a chat with Federico a few minutes ago. Federico, for those out there who may not be aware, Luisa and Federico Jaramillo are twins, both in the U17 category from Bogota. Federico has recently set a new world under-17 record in the men's slalom event with 2 buoys at 41 off. And he is a consummate professional at only 16 years old.
Right you are, and 13 meters, actually 14-meter start. Now, 14-meter start, that's the minimum lake. Now, what do you think is going through his mind so far as tactics are concerned? Because
So Federico made the decision that he wanted to run the 38 off pass with the tailwind in order to provide a 39 head. So you've got to make your choices carefully. The options are a 14-meter start, a 13-meter start with an opt, or as we saw Stephen Neveu coming into the course at 12 meters. Federico found that he'd be most comfortable going ahead and running the extra passes, but starting at 14, so that's what we've got here.
All right, so looking to try and put 10.75 meters into the wind. Much like Stephen Neveu, although Stephen Neveu actually started on 12 meters, 2 passes down. Obviously, it takes a certain kind of confidence to be able to do that. And not to say that Federico probably hasn't started in on 12 meters in recent times, but feels more comfortable with 14.25 meters at this juncture. 13 meters.
Riding that D3 Ion, 66-inch length.
Yes, indeed, and that D3 Ion, we actually got an example of that's been signed by Freddie Winter and Nate Smith, and you can win that slalom ski. Go to SwissProSlalom.com to submit your entry. And
actually, I'll correct. He's moved to the 67. You know, you got to remember when you're under 17, you're still growing, and you know Federico's now a nice tall frame. I think about 6'2", maybe approaching 6'3".
And it looks like he hardly moves out there. I mean, with the edge change and that kind of stuff, uses his hands, just position the handle from one hip to the other, and he's just absolutely solid as the proverbial rock out there.
Well, we've got a few other athletes coming up riding the D3 Ion. One in particular is the holder of the world record, Nate Smith, and I know Federico has had a lot of fun over the years studying video of Nate and looking for every advantage he can get out there, and one of them has been his equipment selection.
All right, let's see. Patrice Legay at the helm of that towboat. Good start on 12 meters. This will put 11.25 meters with the wind at his back. Should he get there, of course. And yeah, he does. Looking very, very strong out there. I mean, can't say enough good things about him as we take a look at the gate shot. Now, even the pull-out is critical at this juncture.
So remember, this is only the 12-meter pass for Federico. He's, this is where, we're going to see some other athletes actually starting their run. It's his third pass now, 12 meters, but he's skiing into things. He felt most comfortable running the extra passes, and a lot of work left to do. But great organization, well ahead of the course. Just a model of efficiency out there, Federico Jaramillo.
All right then, so some good skiing there, just chomping down a little bit on that Bananas Foster 2U bar. They're delicious. Reminds me of New Orleans. It's about the only taste of New Orleans I can get right now, what with all the COVID stuff going on down there. But here we go. Federico Jaramillo, 11.25 meters from Colombia. He's a graduating senior at South Walton High School.
It's a must-make pass for him, and he's little trouble at 4. Stood up a bit, coming into 5.
And did not let that deter him from the pass. Look at that.
Okay, so the gamble seems to be paying off. He's run some extra passes, but now he is situated the way he wanted. We're going to see the 39 pass headed into the wind in just a moment.
And he made a couple of errors is probably too strong of a word. I mean, he had a couple of pauses on this pass, but he just has that incredible knack of just keeping that ski running and just angling that ski to where he wants to be, just like that. Got in a little bit deep off number 2. Round number 3, the tip went up a little bit high, but and there too.
So much space, so ahead of the pass on that 1 and 2 that, the bobble at 3 and the hesitation out of 4 really aren't going to cost him. And you see a nice 11-meter pass for Fetty.
And I mean, the mark of a truly great slalom skier is not the fact that you can actually run passes perfectly. It's being able to run those same passes in less than perfect circumstances.
That's right. It's the mark of the great skier isn't whether or not you make things when it's looking good, but can you make the tough ones?
10.75. I think he ran this pass over at the Travers Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. And look at this. Whoa, got in a little bit of bad shape there. Oh, when he got round number 4 and barely got outside number 5. But good effort there for Federico. As we
Fede will be 4.5 at 39.
Yeah, let's have a look at this. Looked fairly good. Got the angle off buoy number 1. Looked like he was squinting a little bit with his eyes, so maybe a little bit of that sunlight would have distracted him. But anyways, number 4, and he just lost it. He just lost his strength off buoy number 4. And that is all she wrote there for Federico Jaramillo with 4.5 at 10.75 meters. We're gonna check in with Wade at the starting dock. So Wade, who you got?
Hey, thanks, Tony. We got the tower, Chris Paris down here. So, hey man, you've been skiing a long time, but tell me, still a little bit of nerves?
Oh, 100%. Good nerves though, absolutely.
So besides coffee, what's the pregame?
I'm in full attack mode today. I had a great week of training with John Travers and Will Asher. I feel really good about my ski setup and some stuff I've been working on, and obviously not overdo it, but I'm in pure attack mode.
Awesome, man. We can't wait to see it. Back to you, Tony.
No worries, and it looks like Chris Parrish has left the NBA bubble. Man, and I mean, this whole situation with the pandemic has changed sport dramatically over this year. I mean, we're talking about bubbles in the NHL and the NBA, and even baseball going into bubbles for the postseason and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, a lot of those situations have been or are in place right now. So I would suggest that we be thankful for the fact that we're able to have competitions like this almost relatively unchanged so far as their formats are concerned. Here comes Thibaut Dayan.
French athlete Thibaut Dayan is a silver medalist in the overall at the World Championship, and also a phenomenal slalom skier. Thibaut is, a mainstay on the Pro Tour. He's with runs regularly deep into 41 off.
So, coming in on 13 meters. Could quite as easily have come in on 12 meters, but I think... Oh, 14. Okay, 14 meters. I do beg your pardon. So, going with the same tactic as Federico in that respect, looking to put that 39.5 off into the wind.
Fede may have started a trend, that 14-meter start, alleviating the obligation of the opt pass or the 12-meter start for the skiers looking for 39 into the breeze. It'll make for a lot of skiing today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you actually touched upon something, because the sunset's going to be considerably later, considerably earlier than it otherwise would be if this event had actually taken place in May, as it's typically supposed to.
I know we got a jammed field today, completely full, with a wait list of athletes who I know wanted to be here to compete today, and we are going to see daylight being the controlling factor in the final head-to-head pairings.
All right, Federico Jaramillo, it's a 7:45, 4.1 to 1 in comparison to his body weight. All right, so beautiful shot from our UAV.
Excuse me, Tony, I'll correct myself. There won't be a head-to-head pairing in either final unless we've got a tie. We've got a straight final of 4 female athletes, 8 male athletes for the final round.
Yes, indeed. And there we see Thibaut Dayan looking in very, very good shape. That's 13 meters. I mean, starting in on 14.25 meters, I mean, gives him the opportunity to opt up if he wants to, but I mean, he would have needed to have invoked it now if he felt that the tactic going into going into the first pass would have been better to be changed. But here we go. Audience prizes on offer. Predict the podium finishes and win yourself a ski. Either a D3 66-inch Ion or a Conley GTR 66-inch. Here we go. Looking good. Oh, a little bit off center there around buoy number 3, but still managing to pummel his way down the course.
Some nice big rips on 1 and 3 for Thibaut.
All right, so we've just seen Thibaut Dayan.
I know the next 2 passes are going to make or break how Thibaut feels about the ride. If he can run a nice tail 38 and then take down the 39 into the wind, he'll be happy with his first round performance.
Yeah, I'd say so. Oh, it looks like we got Federico.
Come on in, Fede.
When you're done, when you don't have the skier on you, have
Fede, that's a great round out there. Maybe not quite what you were after, but just about completed the 39 pass into the wind. Tell us how it felt.
It was really good. The wind was pretty strong, so decided to go into the 28 first, but it was a good idea and almost came through.
Fede, you think you started a trend? You think we're going to see more skiers starting at 28 today?
Maybe not. They're just really good, and it just depends on what they're more comfortable with, and whatever works for them is best.
All right, and one skier that we've seen going up 14.25 meters, he's now made his way through the this latest pass. I believe this is, 11.25 meters now?
Yeah, that's the 38 off pass for Thibaut, and 38 is typically one of those passes that the pros don't struggle with too much, but you don't want to underestimate what's going on out there with the tail breeze, and Thibaut really, he smashed the 38, just a gorgeous pass. Huge rips on both sides, total control all the way through.
All right then, so a little aside from what you typically do up on the water, Federico, but we'll wish Federico the best of luck going forwards with the next round. Federico scored 4.5 at 10.75 meters. The lead is 2 at 10.25 meters. Here we go, folks. This here is Thibaut Dayan, 39.5 off. 10.75 meters. Needs to start, and he gets it. Round buoy number 2 and number 3. Oh, look at this. He is on full attack mode.
Well, Thibaut knows this course inside out, having trained at the Swiss for years, and that's just textbook, an awesome 39 pass.
And did you see that going through the exit gates? He just couldn't wait to get that handle out of his hands and put it in his elbow. Do you think he may be suffering a little bit of hand fatigue a little bit?
Maybe a glove adjustment, just one of those habits for him. But he's, talk about an organized, aggressive pass, totally in control through 39 there for Thibaut. Elbow dipping in on 3 ball. loads of space out to 4, just tons of angle, powers out to 5. He's just really dominating the pass.
Just allowing that ski to get out ahead of him, establish the angle, and just hang on for dear life. There takes the snap of the rope, and there we go. I mean, hand fatigue possibly, maybe fighting a blister or calluses, I don't know. But fact of the matter is, he's through 10.75 meters. Only our second skier to make it through that pass.
Watch for anything beyond 2. The athletes are going to be hunting for anything beyond 2. Is going to be a chance to separate from the potential for logjam.
Round 1. Does he make a play on 2? He's trying to sell it.
Looks like a 1.5.
And that could be a tie-breaking score. We won't know until we get a little further down this list and well into round 2. But he does get the ski outside number 2. That much we could confirm. So it looks like 1 1/2. And at Doc's side, we've got Wade. Who you got, Wade?
Hey, I'm here with John Travers. So, John, you just had a short drive over this morning, got here, got settled. Now the wind's picking up a bit, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Normally at Swiss, you don't see this kind of stuff. So I looked at the weather maybe 2 days ago, and I saw a south wind, and I know that's not the favorite wind at Swiss. So I was like, all right, we got to start kind of getting ready. And I just had a tournament at my house Wednesday, Thursday, so I was just like, well, when do I train again before here? So yesterday we went out, and it was pretty windy at my place, so we just did some easy passes in that wind just to get comfortable with it. And I feel like we're ready for today, and we'll see what happens.
Tear it up out there, John. Back to you, Tony.
All right, ripping it up indeed. We've got Jamie Calhoun about to take to the water next. Thibaut Dayon, 747, 747 pounds, 4.3 to 1. Weighs in at 172 pounds. That was like 10 years ago for me. All right, then, here we go.
Jamie Calhoun, a Canadian skier who's in the U21 field, really upped his game the last couple seasons and has just been lighting it up with some big scores into 41 off.
And Jamie Calhoun, and some things that I noticed right off the bat is he skis one speed throughout the slalom course. No discernible, no peaks or troughs or anything like that. I mean, you could tell right from the gate shot, Drew. I mean, he just brings that ski round, and that's about as quick as you're going to see that ski roll, because round the turn, there's no real acceleration. It's just one speed.
Yeah, he's Jamie does a really good job keeping things moving through the arc, and he's looking for a big one today.
All right, as we look at the tail end of this pass, that's Jamie Calhoun. That opening pass, I believe, to be not too sure on that one. I think it's either 14 or 13. We're going to go to Wade Cox now.
So here with Thomas de Gasperi, world slalom champ, master slalom champ, Moomba slalom champ, but never competed in the Swiss Pro.
No, I never had a chance to compete here because I was always hurt. My back was always hurting, so I always put I was always trying to come here, but never got the chance to do it. I'm pretty excited. I'm happy to be here. There's a little bit of wind, but I'm happy to be back here and for a pro event, because I always compete here in a normal event, so I'm happy to be here, yes.
Hey, best of luck to you. Tear it up, Thomas.
All right, we look forward to seeing some skiing out there from Thomas de Gasperi, former world slalom champion, and there's Jamie Calhoun from Canada, looking in tremendous shape out there. We'll have a look at the instant replay and see how this worked out, but I'm sure that he's going to find something in terms of acceleration. Started on 14.25 meters. That was 13. And just look at his edge change. It is just poetry in motion out there, Drew.
Silky.
There we
I
go.
like Jamie's strategy here. Just, he made the decision. He wants 39 into the wind. He's decided to go out at 14 and run some passes, but ski into things. And yeah, it's a little more energy, but it can really help with the comfort and size things up and really helps him acquaint with things, not just for today, not just for the first round, but for both rounds.
All right, coming to you live from Claremont in Florida in beautiful HD. This is Jamie Calhoun, 12 meters. Looking good, looking strong. Haha, there we go. 12 meters, no worries there, and he's getting set for 38 off with the wind and looking for that crucial tactically planned pass of 10.75 meters into the wind. But 12 meters, it just looks absolutely, dare I say, silky, as Drew would say. So, as we watch through, the good few fans that are commenting in. Let us know where you're commenting in from. A few of you are watching on big screen TVs, and we're pleased to offer this coverage in high definition, in 1080p. It almost feels like you're there with us, doesn't it? All right, so I'll look upon the shoreline there, getting stretched out. All right. 11.25 meters. Got to get this one to go. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow.
That's an awesome pass. Really no surprise. Jamie's, put up some huge performances over the past season, and even going beyond 2 and getting a piece of 3 at 41 in competition. So, he's in a great circumstance now as he sits down in the water and gets ready for that 39 pass.
All right, then. So, we see Jamie Calhoun, and going to have a look at Skier Prize Central in just a moment. We've got the trophies here in the announcing point. We got hard shell bindings for the skier of the competition. You can vote for your skier of the day by going to SwissProSlalom.com. There is $500 and a new slalom line available for the strongest pull, etc., etc.
We got the Ski Nautique on the way back into the course. 39 off, Jamie Calhoun.
So look at this. Jamie Calhoun, 39.5 off into the wind. And will be only our third skier to run this pass, and there you go. On fire, Jamie Calhoun. Completing pass number 5. We'll see how far he can get on pass number 6 in just a moment.
Well, I'm a little biased, Tony. I do quite a bit of training and skiing with Jamie, and get to see him day after day knocking out big scores, and it's just really fun to see the Canadian junior program, strong as it is, and putting out the quality of athletes like Jamie and the other Jamie Bull today, dominating out there.
All right, so, and really taking that pass all the way through, that was Jamie Calhoun. We've got a smattering of fans along the shoreline, and I'm sure that we're going to get some more as the day progresses along. Yes, indeed. And we got Jamie Calhoun, 10.25 meters. Our top scorer is Stephen Neville with 2. Thibaut Dayon with 1.5. Staying tall on the gate shot. Round buoy number 1. Does he make it round buoy number 2? And, oh, no. Oh, I think the video official needs to get involved here. It's either 1.5 or 2.
That'll be close. Jamie managed to get outside a 2-ball. Not sure if he was quick enough on the S-turn.
We'll take a look. A video assistant official looking at this as we are. Taking a quick click. Oh, there we go. That's 1.5.
That's a miss. Jamie's going to be playing that one over in his mind a few times, I'm sure. Needs a stronger dodge to the left if he's going to be able to have that rope to come back in before the boat guides are coming up. That's something that you can't really see from home, but that tailwind's pushing, and that S-turn's all that much more difficult with the wind on the back.
All right, so we're taking another instant replay view. This is a little less clearer than the one earlier, although having said that, it was pretty clear that he didn't get to the wakes in time to score 2. So now we've got the stats for Jamie Calhoun: 800 pounds, 4.7 to 1, compared to his weight of 172. All right then, so Sean Hunter about to take to the course. Green loop, 30-meter start. Now, Sean Hunter, a student at the University of Alabama. Skis over at Lake 38 on occasion, right there in Quincy, right outside Tallahassee in Florida. And we'll run through 30 meters, and after he's done that, we'll check in with Wade Cox. How are you doing, sir?
So we got a score of 1.5 on the board, Jamie. Probably looking for a little bit more, but not bad for the first round, huh?
Yeah, not bad. I mean, I'm super pumped to get to the 10.75 and just give a shot at 41. Obviously, you want a little bit more once you get there, but hopefully next round focus to get another 6 and then hopefully pick up another ball or 2.
So, yeah. Do you have any changes in mind? How was the wind?
The wind's gusty. I mean, it was up and down. Some of my passes were pretty good. Barely noticed it. I would have taken a 39 in that tail, and then some of it's gusting, and I'm happy with what I did. I think I'll probably stick with the same program.
Good deal. Back to you, Tony. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
All right, then. That's about the first interview I heard from Jamie Calhoun that didn't include the word A.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a solid Canadian. And one thing people don't know about Jamie maybe is he's an outstanding young hockey player, too. I know he's leading the field over at Florida Southern, leading the squad. And, might have had another career if, the water didn't draw him.
I bet he's not pleased that Lord Stanley's club is now resident in Tampa.
Yeah, I struggle with that one, but I think you're right. I mean, he should be a bit more of a hometown fan now here in Central Florida with the Lightning having just won. It's pretty exciting stuff.
All right, so that's Sean Hunter and 12 meters. I mean, you associate some places across the world with ice hockey. With like Canada and Russia and Sweden and Finland and Norway. South Florida doesn't do it for me for somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it. We got a lot of Northerners down here in Florida, and I mean, you go to a Lightning game, it's like nothing else as far as attending an NHL game. Really is something special, and looking forward to the chance to do that again.
All right, so I've yet to attend an NHL game. I'll probably if I ever get into the Great White North, I'll probably take a trip over to Winnipeg or to Edmonton or Vancouver or those places, even Toronto, and to get the real essence of what ice hockey is all about, Yeah,
and Tony, just to let you know, the game is hockey. The ice isn't necessary. The game is called hockey.
Okay, hockey. All right then. So there's no horse hockey on the water right now. We've got Sean Hunter. He's run through 13 and 12, 11.25 into the wind. Now that's going to put 10.75 at his back. So I don't know what his tactical thinking is going to be here. He wants to obviously wanting to put 10.25 into the wind into 10.75 into the wind. We'll see if that decision holds up. Well, I like his style, though. A little open into number 2, but looking pretty strong out there, Drew.
I really like the way Sean skis. He's, a slalom specialist, and he skis a lot, and it shows in, just how consistent his turns are on both sides. Not a lot of movement, a lot of precision going on with his, with his plan out there.
And his style is a little bit different, especially into the edge change and the turn in, because he certainly lets his shoulders, give way to the boat, but yet he still maintains that good cross-course angle with the lower half of his body, and that keeps him in the game 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, he's got that handle nice and low, and he's with the handle for an awfully long period of time. He's really got a lot of good things going on here.
Oh, look at this. Like what I'm... Oh, yeah, look at that. Great looking pass. And he enjoys the heck out of that one. That was 39.5 off, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's huge. Just, in case you're just tuning in, that's the first tailwind 39 pass we've seen today, which it's a big decision for these skiers to make which direction to run the 39, because now he's going to reap the benefit. We're going to see a 41 into the wind, and if you're going to be one of those skiers that gets beyond that potential of a logjam at 2-ball, that headwind sure is nice coming in on 41.
Yeah, and he's now opened up the potential for a lot of other skiers to come through, like saying to themselves, okay, if he's run tailwind 40, if he's run tailwind 39, then I can do it. It's not impossible.
The other factor to consider there, Tony, is it's 2 rounds with your top score coming from your best of the 2 rounds as being the top criteria in terms of forming that list into the final. So it's worth, particularly in the first round, it's worth it to go ahead and take that chance. Sean's not going to be happy with that. Half a buoy, it looks like, at 41 off.
Yep, one of the few that's actually made it to 41 off, but out of the 4 skiers, he's the one that's going to be at the bottom of that rack. But he is in 4th place, mind you, and the top 8 do make it through to the next round of the competition after the end of the second round. And the ski just went over the top of that line, and it was just goodbye for him.
Looks like he didn't have the same amount of speed, moving into the gate there, and he was really getting peeled into the inside. He's missing the freedom that we saw in his earlier passes out to 1-ball there, and wasn't able to move through the finish.
All right, then, as we wait for our next competitor, reminder once again, SwissProSlalom.com. Accurately predict the podiums, and you could win yourself a ski. And a reminder that we continue to take entries right up until the start of round 2. So make sure you get your entry in, because once round 2 starts, all the entries will be locked in and closed. Oh, yes, and Drew, we've got a message for you. Hi from Lee Spalding from Bracebridge. It's a little bit chilly up there, and he's going out for a ski on Muskoka this afternoon.
Gotta love it.
That's
what gets you good, Lee. Gotta ski well into October, and it's not for the meek. Let's just say that.
And here we are at the Swiss Pro Slalom, separating the meek from the chaff. All right then, good news for you hungry folks out there on site. The food truck is here. I'd love some stuff from the food truck, but I've got these 2U bars to keep me company. Bananas Foster.
Tony, I thought you had made some resolutions about the dining habits.
Yeah, it starts with that. All right, now on the water, this is Cale Burdick.
Cale finds his way to a podium here and there for a lot of years. He's a skier out of the Midwest who really at the high end, at the top of his game, can compete with everybody. He's just a delight to watch out there.
All right, let's go to Wade.
Hey, here on the dock with Ben Stadelbar. So, kind of a unique scenario here. Family's a lake owner, and now you're skiing in a pro event on your home lake.
It's pretty special. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's a pretty neat deal, and it's just like any other event that I'm really happy to be a part of. And then it's even more fun because we get to have a hand in creating it. So I take a lot of joy in that, and I think all of us around the site do, to just have some of the best, the best skiers in the world, whether it's men or women, come over here and ski at our place. So it's a lot of fun, really, to participate and help out put on the event, but also get the chance to ski in it as well.
Awesome. You'll see Ben coming up real soon. Thanks, Manny.
Thank you, Wade. You can see the Nautique flag in the background with it's waving, and wind is a factor very much in this first round of the Swiss Pro. Lots of strategy, lots of tactical decisions to be made by the skiers as they want to go ahead and set the mark to best position to be one of those athletes into the 8-man final.
All right, and we are on skier number 8 so far on this list. Cale Burdick, who hails from the Midwest, looking good. An alumnus of Purdue University, and I think he's actually a pharmacist by trade these days. So there we go, Cale Burdick. I'm sure he's got plenty of fans up there towards the northern portion of the country. For those of you that are, why not take some time to comment in and let us know your thoughts. He went on 13 meters. The pass that you're watching now is 12 or 35 off. So, there is Patrice in the towboat, showing you the event that we're at, the Swiss Pro Slalom for 2020.
In that beautiful 2021 Ski Nautique, Cale Burdick entering the course 38 off.
All right, let's see. Oh, little down course there. So 38 off. Like his style. Certainly like his style out there. That was 38 off into the wind, but the harder pass beckons. Hard enough pass on its own, 10.75 meters, but with the wind at his back, it's going to make it doubly difficult.
Just a great technical example out there. Cale really makes the most of his overall snapshot. He's a fairly slight technique, but he's lean and strong, and he's fast on the ski and can execute on both sides equally well. He's fully capable of putting up huge scores, and I know he's looking to do that today.
All right, so Kel Burdick, 10.25 meters with the wind at his back. Only one person has actually run this pass in under those conditions, and that was our previous skier, Sean Hunter. Handle up a
little loose
bit.
line at one ball. He's going to have to turn it on here. Another stand up on 3. A big number 4 for Cale. Let's see if he can move through 5.
Oh, look at this. How on earth?
It's almost unfair.
How on earth did he run that?
Almost unfair. Talk about management.
Very Johnny on the spot there, especially off this number 1. Brought the handle in, a little loose line, but takes it in and gets on the good foot. But I tell you what, his knee bend off buoy number 2, I think actually saved him on this particular run.
So fluid and dynamic on turns 2 and 4, particularly ball 2.
And there you go,
just running his sort of marginal deficit of, say, 10 or 15 feet each buoy, but knowing that he's got enough left in the tank to finish it.
All right, pass number 5. This is 10.25 meters.
Cale's one of those guys who can turn it on, and I know he's going to be looking for the start. He the best start he can have here. We see somebody go beyond 2. It's going to be the first tip of the direction of things to come.
All right, here we go. Cale Burdick. Maybe some of you out there that are watching this are probably leaving Cale Burdick.
There you have it, 3 at 41 off, Cale Burdick.
Well, there you go. That's 3 at 41. That's not a bad score. That could well be a decent backup score. Something from where he can work from.
A lot of experience coming through for Cale. We've seen in over the past several years that typical logjam of 2 at 41 move up to 3, and securing a 3 at 41 in the first round is going to do a few things, Tony. It's going to, number one, it's a great place to be, but it's also going to put him. It's going to improve his seed position for the second round, and hopefully give him a glimpse into what he's going to need to secure a spot into the final.
All right, right you are. As we take a look at Cale Burdick's final action with 3 buoys at 41 off, let's transition over to Wade and on dockside.
Hey, I'm here with Corey Vaughn. So, Corey, wind's up and down a little bit. Do you have any sort of particular strategy that you're going to take?
Well, I've been trying to watch everybody. I'd say I'm still undecided at the moment. I've seen it go well in both directions, but we just saw Sean Hunter and Cale kind of do the normal progression of passes, take that 39 tail. For Cale right there, I just put up the 3 into the headwind, so all of a sudden that bar went to 3 with the lineup we got coming. It looks like 3 is going to be the mark. I'm feeling better about that right now going headwind, so maybe got to take that 39 tail.
There you go. Back to you, Tony.
All right, then let's take a quick look at the scores as they stand right now in the men's competition. These are your top 8 so far. Burdick with 3, Neville with 2, Dayon with 1.5, also with 1.5 is Calhoun. Then Hunter with 0.5, then Jaramillo, Abel, and Grubbs rounding off the final spots in the top 8. But we've still got plenty of skiers to come. Trust you me. Those rankings are going to change between now and the end of this round.
Okay, from the Midwest to the Midwest, we got Dane Meckler. I know a lifelong buddy of Cale Burdick and Nate Smith. These guys pushed each other through their junior skiing, and Cale was a podium finisher at the World Championship recently in Malaysia, and he's not the tallest stature, but from a technical standpoint, boy.
All right, here we go. Our bow shot provided to us by Ravenol Oil. And here comes Dane Meckler. I just like the way that ski sits in the water and his control over that ski from one side of the course to the next.
total economy of motion for Dane. Not a lot going on what looks to be a 13-meter, 32 off pass. We're going to see things amp up.
All right, over to Wade.
Hey, guys, I'm here with Cale Burdick. So, Cale, our biggest scorer yet. What was sort of your strategy? It looked like you just went straight up the rope, right? No big deal?
Yeah, I was definitely tempted to do something different. The wind is, once you're on the water, it's a little bit more formidable than it looks. But I stuck with the plan. We trained for these tailwind 39s and just kept to my movements. It worked out.
Yeah, it looked good. So you, like a few of these others, got a real job. So tell us about it.
Yeah, you know, it's fun to hear Steven talk about it. He's maybe a decade behind me trying to find that balance of work and ski. And, you know, we all work so we can ski. And I found a good balance. It took a good 5 or 10 years to settle in. But, yeah, work 40 hours, not too much, but ski as much as I possibly can.
There you go. We'll look forward to seeing more of it, Cale. Back to you, Tony.
All right, thanks a lot, Wade. And bring in Dane Meckler into the course, a resident of Charlotte in North Carolina, involved in mergers and acquisitions these days, so economic in more ways than one, I suppose. But just take a look at this, Dane Meckler.
Dane doing his skiing at Little Mountain Ski Club north of Charlotte.
And, you know, to me, I mean, Dane Meckler kind of looks like one of those alpine slalom skiers, you know, where the turns come up pretty quickly. You try and keep your upper body still, and everything that moves is basically below the waist.
So Dane's he's not the tallest guy on tour, but he is among the most organized in terms of making the most of his frame and you know, really dissecting what's involved in being able to swing up on the boat at the shortest of line lengths and remain centered and you know, one thing you notice in Dane, carbon copy every cut through the wake. He's totally stacked, totally organized, as powerful as all get out behind the boat.
All right, 11.25 meters. Dane Meckler. Round number one, a little bit of a jumpy edge change into number two, but he's an experienced enough campaigner out there to where he can mitigate the effects of that. And there we go, 11.25 meters. It will have 10.75 at his back, but our previous two skiers, previous two skiers have shown that it's definitely possible to run that pass with the wind blowing behind you.
Something worth mentioning, the 39 with the wind. It's a situation where getting wide on the pass maybe isn't quite so difficult, but being one with the rope is going to be top priority, and that's, you know, that really plays into Dane's strength. He's just so good at being organized and synced up with the boat. So, you know, maybe the tailwind isn't quite as big an obstacle for Dane as it is for the rest of the field.
All right, we just saw a dockside shot of, we're seeing a dockside shot now of Ryan Knapper and Thomas de Gasperi in the background there, along with Nate Smith, just trying to get psyched up for what's about to take place. And there is Chris Parrish all the way out there in the background. 10.75 meters. Let's see what Dane Meckler can conjure up. Can't afford to make too many mistakes, but he's making a bunch of them, and he's still running it. Made about 4 or 5 mistakes on that pass, and he still ran it.
Total management out there. Like you mentioned, Tony, Dane did not get the start he wanted. You see a lot of tip rise on his buoy one turn, as well as 3 and 5. But he did manage to completely organize where he is in the course and really just stay on top of things.
And I like the way he uses his feet coming into these turns because, I mean, just take a look at this. He's a lefty. He just positions his feet into the turn, and then he just whips them out from underneath and just goes cross course, just with incredible power and incredible precision. Aside from number 5, of course, but he had pretty much had that pass dialed in by that time. Just a quick reminder, our competition is still taking place. Our audience competition. Accurately predict the podium placements, and you could win big. SwissProSlalom.com. Oh, it gets round buoy number 2, and that is all she wrote there for him.
That's a great start at 41 for Dane Meckler. Just a huge ball 1. He's going to be thinking that one through at ball 2 as he heads toward the second round. That's just a beauty ball 1 here. Look at the angle.
Oh, look at that. Almost too good of a number 1, I would say, if that is entirely possible.
You can see the effect of the wind there going into ball 2. It just really shut everything down for him, and he just couldn't quite reconnect moving back into the finish at 2.
Just completely stung him.
Maybe that huge ball 1 led to a bit of a ping or a bit of a release of the energy, sending him straight toward the buoy and just kind of upping the ante on the management level required to sync up through the finish at 2.
All right, as we continue rolling along, we're just done with skier number 9. We're done with skier number 9. The course record here, incidentally, is 1.5 at 9.75 meters. So this site does have the chops for some great top flight skiing. And if you want to check out this site, you go to SwissWaterSkiResort.com, SwissWaterSkiResort.com to find out all you need to know about this facility. Dane Meckler, 670 pounds, 4.2 to 1 against his weight of 159 pounds. And his 0 off, for those of you that are interested, is a B1, Bravo 1. All right, and next skier to go, a new competitor for the Swiss Pro Slalom. This is Ryan Knapper.
Ryan's young, tall, and talented, out of California. For the true students of the sport who might find themselves on some of the blogs, there was a post recently of Ryan just smoking a 41 pass, and it got a lot of hits, and I know people are just kind of in awe when they watch how efficient and organized Ryan's skiing is.
So, skier with a lot of potential. What? All right, so 12 meters coming up for Ryan Knapper. So the last 5 skiers have all gotten into 41 off. That's a pretty amazing statistic right there. So a 12-meter attempt. Just looking super smooth. So super smooth. And with that, let's rejoin Wade at the starting dock.
Hey, thanks, Tony. I'm here with Fred Winter, one of your countrymen. And so we're talking, been a couple years since you won this, so you're probably itching pretty bad, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking about it this week. I came out to have a practice and saw the winners list, and that 2015 titles. It's kind of quite a long time ago now. So I'm gonna, Will got me last skier of the day last year, and yeah. But I mean, we're gonna see how it goes today. I feel good. So we're at Swiss. We're gonna have a good time.
And conditions, sort of a little bit of headwind off the dock. What are you thinking? You just gonna do a regular up through the rope?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, it's up and down. I think I'm probably just gonna stick to normal. But yeah, it's okay. Hey, can I just take 1 second? I was at a wedding a couple of days ago. My good friends Paul and Ellie Horton, Paul O'Hara and now Ellie O'Hara. I want to say a big congrats to them for tying the knot and setting their path together onwards forever.
Well, there you go. Congrats, guys. Back to you.
All right, Wandsworth's finest adding his comments to the proceedings here. Ryan Knapper. Oh, look at this. Looking good. And and Chris Parrish there on the starting dock looking from one end of the course to the next in total disbelief at what he's seeing right now. It's 11.25 meters.
Skiing with a lot of confidence. Ryan really is dialed in out there.
And it's interesting to see how soon he looks up for the turn, going cross course behind the boat, because it looks like he's holding his shoulders and skiing tall to try and give himself the best view and the best position to set up his turn and continue to go cross course. But there you go, Ryan Knapper from the Golden State of California, as Drew mentioned a little bit ago, was seen on a social media posting absolutely blitzing 41 off 10.25 meters. And where Ryan Knapper is right now is the pass prior. 10.75 meters, 39.5 off. Let's see what he's got. Oh, look at this. He is early and waiting at 10.75 meters. I ain't joking. Boom. Shakalak.
So he may not have quite had the turns he wanted on 2 and 4, but you know what a ball one, what a big ball one, and you know, gave himself the space he needed to have a bit of a cushion to get through it.
So, look at this again from Ryan Knapper. I mean, good extension and just using the height that he's blessed with.
He's really relying on the turns on 1 and 3 there, at perhaps at the cost of 2 and 4. We're going to see Ryan. I know he's going to want to try to, you know, balance things up a bit. You know, have that same commitment on 1, but be able to design things so he can move through the number 2 turn here, and coming up into 41.
And staying in full control of his momentum too, because I mean he could have easily overpowered that number 5 and like pulled all the way to number 6, but then he would have had all of that line and speed to control. And
well, he's right where he wants to be. 41 coming in.
Here we go.
Into a headwind.
Pass number 5. This is 41 off. He's round number 3. He skis to the wake, and he gets the 3.
That's huge. 3 at 41.
Ties with Cale Burdick. Wheelies up a little bit on buoy number 1 and almost got broken over too much into number 2, but showing uncharacteristic strength there off buoy number 2. Gets round number 3 now. Let's have a look. Let's tickety-tock here. Yes, well before that boat guide.
Ryan really does a great job of executing a nice strong turn on ball 2, given that he really got pitched leaving number 1. You can see the gate. It's a good attack. Nice and early, really fully committed here on number 1. You watch him get pitched here. Just about takes a header, reorganizes, regroups, puts a good turn on 2. Long and strong cut out to 3, get the full point.
All right, so continuing right along towards our next skier, Chris Parrish now. A lot of people that have commented a little bit in regards to skiing safety, and one person in particular, Brett Bowden, said, and he's watching from Ontario, by the way, he obviously wishes he was in Florida. He sees a lot of skiers using noose blockers on their handle. That's the first time I heard that expression, but the sentiment is the same. They try and fill in that space in the V in the handle, and I think given a lot of instances in recent times, I think that's probably a wise decision that some skiers have taken to actually install those that on their handle. Your thoughts on that, Drew?
Well, it's one of those things, safety's going to be a concern, and everywhere. And I think a lot of it, a lot of part of the decision for the pros is going to be, just kind of their confidence and trust and experience level with, where they are relative to the handle, typically at the finish of the turn, both sides. You can never say too much about the value of safety, but there's a variety of different opinions on it. You got some pros who don't want to risk the forearms and the arms, in the case of a hand going through versus a head going through, and some feeling potentially more susceptible, in that case. But it is something that we're continually seeing evolution in. We're seeing different methods of protection there, and something to watch for sure.
Yes, indeed, and sometimes even that's not enough in terms of a safety. I'm reminded of the incident with Brooke Baldwin over at the Malibu Open about a month or so ago, almost getting her head wrapped completely inside a slalom line, and thankfully she avoided that potential scenario. Here is Chris Parrish, and this is 30 meters. That's 6 buoys. And here is Wade Cox.
So on the dock here with Ryan Knepka. So Ryan, 3 at 41. I heard Drew Ross say that was a huge score. How was it out there?
It was really fun, man. Really fun. I think I got a little lucky there with the wind. It died down just enough for me, but it was really fun. I had a great time.
So you're tied for the lead. At least got a backup score. Any changes? Any maybe alterations for the second round?
I don't think so. I was thinking about that going into this round, but I think everything felt great. I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, there you go. From our leader, back to you, Tony.
All right. We are on skier number 11 of 18. Skier number 11 of 18, which means we've got 7 skiers to go, and potentially we've set up a target of 3 at 10.25 meters as being a potential bubble score with the amount of skiers that we've on, but we don't really truly know what it's going to take to make it through until we're deep into the second round, and even then it would take a system of calculation to determine that with potential ties. Here we go, Chris Parrish. This is 12 meters.
We do know that 3 at 41 is at least a runoff at this point. So for the skiers on the dock, if you can manage a full 3 at 41, they know that they're at least in contention for a final slot.
Indeed, you're right. And
that being said, there is a full other round to go, but just in terms of maintaining a top 8 position heading into the second round, that's where things play out right now. 3 at 41.
All right, and some great skiing even at this point in the season. We are into October, folks, and a lot of skiers typically at this time of year want to shut it down and take a little bit of a break and start planning their the winter skiing trip, or maybe a little cycling trip or something like that. Whatever floats their boat. But we're here deep into October, and we're certainly grateful to have this roster of great pro talent skiing here at the Swiss Water Ski Resort at the Swiss Pro Slalom for 2020.
Want to make mention, it's we'd be remiss without making mention of our world champ Joe Howley, who I know has checked in, and superstars like Robert Pugosi who are at home today, and I'm sure there are a few others that we ought to make mention of. We miss you out here, and look forward to the ease of travel again at some point.
Yes, indeed, and we got a number of people commenting in as Chris Parrish comes into the course 11.25 meters. Shout out to Paul O'Hara and Ellie, taking a little bit of time away from their honeymoon to watch this event.
Sacha Descun, another superstar hailing from France, who is unable to be with us today, and he's a Swiss local as well. When he does come over to the United States, he's training right here, and nonetheless, we got an outstanding world-class field of the best of the best in the sport competing today at the Swiss Pro.
Indeed, and also Robert Pugosi as well. Let's not forget about him. He's watching it as well from the Dominican Republic. He, in a similar situation, unable to get across to the United States to compete, but I'm sure we'll hear from him. And yes, we have heard from him. He's saying that Nautique looks amazing. Of course it does. It's a Nautique.
Shout out to you, Robert. One of the best things about watching Robert ski, it's so fun all the time. It's unorthodox. It's not what you see as in terms of what we've often referred to as textbook. Robert skis Robert's way, and it's always exciting.
All right, so Thomas de Gasperi on the starting dock, getting ready and focused on what he's going to do. This is 10.75 meters, tailwind 10.75 meters. Tall, powerful, experienced. Look at this. On that Syndicate Omega Max. Look at him go. Boom. 6 buoy count. 10.75. Still proving to the world that he still has it.
I can remember the late Herb O'Brien standing on the shores in Vancouver at Abbotsford, watching one of the Pro Tour stops in the late 90s when Chris was just making his way into the pro ranks. Chris went out and just blew through 39, and I can remember Herb saying, "That was 39?"
Yes, indeed.
Here he is 20 some years later, making it look like child's play.
That's right. 6 buoys at 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. Now, if he can get past number 3 at this point, he'll take the lead. But more importantly, he'll put himself in a pretty decent spot to make it through to the next round of the competition. Let's forget for a moment that there is a second round. If he can get past number 3, then he would put himself in a very, very good situation there. But there is a second round to come after this. Oh, and it's half, and it's going to tie him with Sean Hunter, and that will currently put him right now in about tie for 5th place right now.
Very uncharacteristic here. Not quite. Let's look at what happened here. Maybe Nick the buoy just getting in a little deep at ball 1 at 41 for Chris.
All right, but he still has another round. So it is half a buoy. We're getting confirmation of that right now. Half a buoy for Chris Parrish. All right then, so looks like Chris Parrish standing at 203 pounds. He just pulled 802 pounds of force against the towboat. Strength to weight ratio of, well, almost exactly 4-1. And his zero offsetting is A2, which suits him right down to the ground. All right then, audience prizes. Predict the podium finishes and win yourself a ski. Go to SwissProSlalom.com, SwissProSlalom.com, and enter for your chance to win that ski. But time is running out because you have until the start of round 2 to get your entry in. Those of you that want to enter for the audience prizes, you have until the start of round 2 to get those entries in. And you can also vote for Skier of the Day as well, SwissProSlalom.com. And the athlete that wins the Skier of the Day honors will get themselves an edge binding. Here we go. Here we go. First time entrant into the Swiss Pro Slalom. This is Thomas de Gasperi, two-time world slalom champion. And looking very, very strong out there. And I think that was on 13 meters. Was that the green loop? Green loop. Ligne de Ver. So, what do you see there from our two-time world slalom champion?
I see greatness. This is somebody who's been in the mix at the top of the world for now. This is just marking 20 years. I mean, I can remember Thomas's first big mark into the world scene was the 2001 World Championships in Rocchetto, where he narrowly missed the podium with a 4th place finish, and it's been nothing but upward mobility ever since. It was only a few years later he won his first world title in 2007, and he's continued to carefully hone his craft and really zero in on what works for him. He's done some things with his equipment quite a few years back now that was probably unique at the time, and he's bought into what works for him and really stuck with it, and how can you argue with the results?
Yes, indeed. And since 2005 only I think only about 5 or 6 slalom skiers have actually won the world title, because at least 3 of them had won multiple world titles each. And here we go, Thomas de Gasperi with our UAV view. Beautiful camera work there. So there we go, Thomas de Gasperi setting down and getting ready for 11.25 meters.
Yeah, Thomas's wins at the World Championship coming at 2007 in Austria. What was a really what you would call a skier's site. Some phenomenal conditions. He put up a huge performance, a 3 at 41 off there, and then backed it up a couple championships later in 2011 in Dubna.
Yeah.
Very much not a skier's site typically. It's some adverse conditions. Really, again, not for the meek. Got to be tough out there, and just showing his overall versatility. And talk about a technical example. Talk about the whole package here, Thomas de Gasperi.
Right, you are. And others that have won the World Slalom title have been Nate Smith, Will Asher, Freddie Winter, and Joel Howley recently. Not too many have ascended to the top rung of the ladder so far as the World Championship are concerned, and we got one of those few individuals on the water right now. At 11.25 meters, this is Thomas de Gasperi. Looking in great shape. Don't see much wrong there.
It just gets better and better. I mean, he's moving down the rope, and the passes just continue to. He looks more and more at home the shorter it gets.
So looking in good spot. Surprisingly, this is his first ever appearance at the Swiss Pro Slalom. We've had 5 editions of this event. We've had winners in the likes of Nate Smith and Freddie Winter and Will Asher. Only one women's winner, though, and that's Regina Jaquist. All right, so looking at our starting dock and look at our settings. We've taken all of the statistics from our skiers so far as their zero-off settings and concluded that A2 is the favorite setting among our skiers, with a little over 30% of our pro men skiers selecting that setting. 10.75 meters for Thomas de Gasperi, a little stalled off number 1, but he can more than make up for that error. And I tell you what, at 10.75 meters, this former world champion is knocking it down.
Yeah, the tailwind, not a big issue for Thomas. He definitely, we definitely saw a few things here and there that made him work for it. But it's, he's got wins around the globe, and certainly the confidence to move into the 39 pass with the wind and know that he can be on the attack and design his whole set here for what we're about to see, 41 into the wind.
And he's tall as well, which gives him a big boost.
Some of the bigger skiers here, they've got the advantage for the reach. They do face the obstacle of perhaps being a greater mass impediment on the zero off speed control system. Thomas is one of those tall skiers who's really done everything he can to minimize his impact on the boat, while at the same time maximizing his efficiency and maintaining his cross course speed.
All right, here we go. Now, this is Thomas de Gasperi. 10.25 meters. If he can get more than 3, then that'll definitely be a shot in the arm for him in his first appearance at the Swiss Pro Slalom. And it is 3, and that puts him into a 3-way tie for the lead with Kel Burdick and Ryan Knapper.
Got to say that's the best 3 so far. T-Gas is, so well versed at knowing how to get that score of 3 and separate himself from the group. And look how quick he is on the 2-ball turn.
Yeah, he got on the good foot there. And I kind of wonder if Tom actually wanted to ski for free, but then again, you look at it as his expression at the end, and that kind of would have suggested otherwise. But 3's not bad. But would it be enough to see him advance?
Be interesting to see how much of a factor the wind plays in round 2. So typical of this event, we're seeing skiers start to pile up on 3, and with a whole second round ahead, that's even greater the likelihood that there's going to be a lot of them.
All right, here we go. 6'4", 190 pounds. So 692, 3.7 to 1, and his zero off is C2, Charlie 2. Our top 8 at the moment, there you see Burdick, Knapper, de Gasperi, all tying for the top spot. Neveu in outright 4th. Then you've got 3 skiers with 1.5. And there you see at the starting dock, Corey Vaughn getting ready to rock out there on the slalom course. So we're cranking down here. We've got a lot of skiing to come. We've got Corey Vaughn. We're on skier 13 of 18.
Okay, we've got another very tall and lean frame in Corey Vaughn, who's actually in terms of physical size, very similar to Thomas de Gasperi, also a right foot forward skier. Corey's one of those skiers who when he's on, can put up scores as big as anybody.
All right, then, just a quick correction. We are on skier 13 of 20. There are 2 more skiers. We got 20 skiers in total. Corey Vaughn, who comes to us out of Bumpus in Virginia.
Are you pronouncing Bumpus properly?
Yes.
Tony, okay.
Yes, I am. Trust me on this. Up until about last week, he was still holding slalom clinics. He actually brought in one of his good friends from back in the day, Mike Kuziak from California, to help him out with a slalom clinic over there in Bumpus in Virginia. So the water up there must be absolutely frigid up there. But he's still there, still training.
Shall we discuss the origins of the name of Bumpus?
All right, so all right then. So we've got Corey Vaughn. We got apparently we've got some huge breaking news. Oh my word! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's too long. Chris Parrish's handle has been adjudged to be too long, which negates his score.
So for people out there who are wondering what that means for Chris Parrish, no, you're not disqualified. It's not different than missing a gate. You simply have cut it. You know, you've charged a little too close, and you've cut the margin too thin. That will result in a 0 for CP in round 1, and it's gonna put the weight on his shoulders for a big score in round 2.
And he scored half a buoy at 41 off, which might not have done the trick for him anyway, so he probably didn't lose an awful lot. Now, obviously, from the mechanical point of view, I mean, you've got a handle that you like, and you like to ski with it, and it's turned out to be just a little bit too long. I mean, so what do you have to physically do? Do you have to get like a fit out or something like that and just restring the handle? I mean, what do you do?
That's right, Tony. There's a variety of ways that the skiers are able to actually adjust the length of the handle, you know, in micro amounts, and every eighth is something the skiers are watching in terms of their own equipment, knowing where it is in that handle checking device tolerance. 1.5 meters is the limit. There's a 2.5 centimeter tolerance. Skiers are known to push that edge a bit, and you know, sometimes you put a lot of load on there. I mean, the tower. I mean, let's face it. He's a big boy out there, and he can stretch that rope. And it's not a nefarious thing. It's not a circumstance where, you know, it's not viewed as a cheat, if you will. It's no different than pushing that right hand gate ball. You've just pushed it too far. He's gonna lose the round. He's gonna have a score of 0 in round 1. He's putting the all of the pressure on CP for a big round 2.
All right, then we certainly wish him the best of luck. But one thing you can't do to that handle is put a knot in it to make it shorter. Isn't that right?
Well, I mean, you could, but you know, you're going to shorten the handle an awful lot. You're going to put a pressure point on it. What you'll see CP do likely is he's going to thread another piece of rope on the inside of it with a fid, and probably bring it in about 1/4 inch, depending on how much it's out of tolerance, and ideally he'll show up with a handle that's going to pass in round 2.
Yes, indeed. This is 11.25 meters you see in the instant replay again for Corey Vaughn. Now, that whole handle thing is like almost reminiscent of a scene that I saw in a movie called Rush. Have you ever seen that movie with that's detailed Niki Lauda and James Hunt in Formula One, where the actual width of the car on one of the Grand Prix was actually judged to be like 1 centimeter too wide?
That's right.
Almost reminiscent to that. And a lot of people accuse Ferrari of playing dirty tricks with that, but eventually it got overturned. So James Hunt got his points.
So decades ago, we saw the handle check occur prior to the skier's turn. For about the past, I would say, 15 years, it's been official in the rule book that as the skier returns to the dock, whether the skier returns to the dock, when the rope returns to the dock starters to remove the handle, check the length, and it's binary. It's either in or out, and the score's logged in the book if the handle's good, if the handle's out.
Oh, and Corey Vaughan, getting out of shape off buoy number 3, and he stood up on buoy number 4. Now there's no option for him now. He's got to ski out of his mind in round 2.
Yeah, Corey will be disappointed with that.
So 4 at 39.5 off. But it's not impossible. He's still very much in the event, but he's just, like I say, he's just ski completely out of his shorts.
Corey got a little bit separated leaving ball 2, and it cost him some time on 3.
All right, let's hear from Wade. All right, our competitor on the water, and wearing the black bib that denotes the reigning men's champion. This is Will Asher.
Will's one of the skiers that, when we're at a tournament and I'm with my son, Charlie, I say, hey, Charlie, stop what you're doing, watch this. Just a textbook of organization. Really developed and crafted his own technique, and talk about proven.
Has a 246 side, which you wouldn't believe, and I mean it's easy to say because he's right for forward, but I mean there are number 2 buoy turns, and then there's this. And much like Jamie Calhoun, he skis with one speed, it looks like.
It almost looks like Will's skiing almost looks like a modern version of the late great Andy Mappel. I know Andy was a hero of just about everybody in this field, and Will definitely took elements and pieces of that wonderful example to build his own program here.
And one skier, though, who we'll see it in a little bit, is probably the closest in my mind to replicating this technique. We'll see him later on. But Will Asher looking very good with his opening pass of 13 meters. I think that's going to be the standing line length for the remaining competitors, and unless they feel frisky enough to go in at 28 off and opt up through the 38 with the second pass. But I don't see that somehow. Big shout out to the folks at Gosfield Lake in the United Kingdom. Vince and Danny are tuning in. Thanks a lot, guys. Vince was actually slated to actually drive this event, the 2020 Swiss Pro Slalom, but with the whole COVID stuff going on and the pandemic, that didn't become a possibility after March. But there you go. That is Will Asher on the water. Good effort. And this is 12 meters and looking very, very strong. I certainly like his technique out there. It just seems very fluid from one side to the other. There's very little to choose from between one side and the other. Keeps it very, very symmetrical.
Yeah, I could watch Will all day long. One of the great Mappel-esque features you see in Will Asher's skiing is just his insistence on running a nice early line in the course, and he's just so good at maintaining that space in the course and course position. And naturally, as the rope gets shorter, the apexes become closer and closer to the buoy versus in front of the buoy, and Will just manages the space so well.
All right. Apparently, one of our folks tuning in from Charlotte saying that the water isn't all that cold yet. It's about 70 degrees. But the water here is considerably warmer here at Swiss. As the sun starts to peek up out of the clouds, we continue to see Will Asher. It is 11.25 meters. Drops in and takes it all the way through the pass. A beautifully executed run once again. So, Will Asher, two-time world champion, multiple-time world championship medalist. I mean, naturally you want to ascend to the highest rung you can, but I mean, there have been instances where he's like placed in either second or third. Actually scored his first world championship medal about maybe a half a mile or a mile away here on one of the other lakes leading into this facility. The 2003 World Championships. And there on the starting dock is another world champion, and that is Adam Saddlemeyer. But his titles came via the overall competition.
Following the 2003 World Championship here at Swiss, in which Will had his first podium, 2005 World Championship in China, we saw Will take the title.
And then 4 years later, in 2009, at the Lakes of Cast in Stone, Predator Bay, outside Calgary. Ooh, oh my
That's
word.
a problem.
That
Just
is
running into trouble at ball 5, getting a little down course, and we're gonna see the ante up for Will Asher, needing a big round 2, not quite completing the 39 off pass.
He's definitely put himself in a little bit of a hole here, and he almost made it all the way through that pass, but save for 1 or 2 errors here. But I mean, he got round that number 3, a little bit of a down course slide. Round number 4, still nothing he couldn't handle. But then this is where the straw that broke the camel's back. Round buoy number 6, and just couldn't really hold on to that much slack. So it's going to be 5.5. And that is the highest score of any skier that hasn't cleared 10.75 meters up to this point. Skiers that have cleared 10.75 meters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
all right,
7. So actually, Will Asher's in 8th. He would have been in 9th had it have not been for the 0 score awarded to Chris Parrish.
Okay, we got 2015 World Overall Champion Adam Saddlemeyer about to take to the water. He's a training buddy of mine, and I gotta say, I'm watching a lot of 41 offs go down these days. This is going to be something fun to watch.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, getting a message in from our good friend Patrizio Bizzotta. Nico Bizzotta, ciao. Ciao to you too, sir. Here comes Adam Saddlemeyer, 30 meters out of the Czech Republic, but a resident here of the United States. Actually works at a signage business, the Loroterno Sign Group. I'm sure Alex and her father wouldn't mind me mentioning that. But there you go, Adam Saddlemeyer. He's a relatively new dad as well.
You can see power all the way through in Adam's skiing. He's got lightning quick reflexes. He's somebody who can really command his 2-4-6 turn, and he's he's just got explosive and innate. He's got that juice on the way into the wake that just sets him free of the boat, nice and high all the time, and really capable of some high-end performances.
All right, Drew, and continuing to roll. Now, we mentioned a little bit. I mentioned a couple of 0 off settings as they came up on the screen for some of our skiers. Now, some of our folks here are commenting it like saying, please explain the 0 off settings, what the letter means, what the number means. So, in my mind, the letter is the location, right?
Yeah, you got location and then kind of bandwidth, if you will, for the number in terms of just how the boat's responding to the pull of the skier. And it's sort of minutia, but it's not really. It matters. It just kind of identifies how you sync up with the boat. I mean, it doesn't impact the boat's time, no matter what. The boat's programmed to run 16:08 down the center, time after time after time again. It's just where you want that resistance and that application of power from the boat, where you want it and how wide a band you want it. And that's what you see in terms of the ABC and the 1, 2, 3.
And obviously the number deals with intensity, right? Location and intensity for...
Well, as you narrow that bandwidth, you're going to have greater intensity in order for the boat to maintain its obligation to a 16:08 time. So there is some discretion in terms of the skier's opportunity to, kind of set up the boat to match their style. And, there's also a familiarity element. Skiers, want to be able to set up the boat on a consistent basis so that they can kind of have what they're used to and lets different styles be equal in terms of opportunity for in other words, no one particular style having an advantage due to, a boat settings.
Yes, indeed, and I have noticed skiers that actually tweak the settings a little bit between boat manufacturers, but that's a whole nother story. And in total, there are 18 settings that you can choose from because you've got the 9 settings between 3 letters, 3 numbers, and then you've got the plus as well on top of all of that. But we'll leave that aside for a moment and focus in on Adam Saddlemeyer, who's approaching the course at 11.25 meters. For those folks out on the site that are getting a little bit hungry, our food truck is open and serving breakfast. This is Adam Saddlemeyer, hoping to make a meal out of the slalom course himself. It's a 6-buoy count at 11.25 meters. So, good show.
Adam's really skiing with a lot of confidence out there. He knows he's skiing well. He's in tune with his equipment. He's been training nice and hard, and he's frequently putting up big scores. So no surprise, Adam's chosen to take the 39 pass with the wind and set himself up for the best shot at 41.
All right, so we are on skier number 15 of 20. Now, for those of you that are entering the competition to win yourself a slalom ski, whether it's the D3 or whether it's the Conley, you have until the start of round 2 to get those entries in at SwissProSlalom.com. SwissProSlalom.com is the place to go to get in your audience entry. Your audience prediction entry. Predict the podium for both the women and the men. And if you do that accurately enough, you could win yourself a slalom ski signed by world champions. Believe it or not. Here we go. Adam Saddlemeyer, 10.75 meters. Looking good. Little on the back there on number 2, but just trying to settle in. Trying not to do too much around the turn. Oh, there he goes. 10.75. I like that. So Adam Saddlemeyer has made it to pass number 5, which is 10.25 meters. And Drew, take us how he did it.
That's just a very commanding pass. 39 for Adam, just ripping buoys 1 and 2, setting the stage for an early shot at 3. 3 not that much different than number 1. Now by 4 you can see he's managing the pass a bit. He knows he's ahead of the game. He knows he's got it. He's not quite safetying, but definitely not letting it rip the way he was on 1 and 2. But he's all the space in the world. Just that's mastery right there. 39 off Adam Saddlemeyer.
Yes, indeed. Right you are. That is 39.5 off. And now getting ready for 41 off, 10.25 meters. The top score is 3. And by virtue of him actually making it to 10.25 meters, he's put himself in the top 8 right now with 5 skiers remaining. Here we go. This now is Adam Saddlemeyer. This is 10.25 meters, 41 off. Gets the start that he needs. Look at him go round buoy number 2. He's still on his feet. He's round number 3. Can he make it outside 4? No. And that is our 4th skier to tie with 3 at 10.25 meters. Amazing stuff there, Drew.
Kind of hilarious because you can see Adam going ahead and giving a turn at 3 a shot, and that's big risk right there because there is a logjam at 3. It is critical to have that 3 in the book going into the second round, and he's you want to say he's willing to take some chances. He's just throwing it all out there. It's just awesome skiing.
And we might be in a situation where the top 8 skiers by the end of this round could all be at about halfway through 10.25 meters.
Won't be the first time, and it's something we see more and more. Definitely be looking for the very top seeds to go beyond 3. They'd love to distance themselves from that potential logjam we talk about. Just looking here at Adam's ball too, just powers his way into the wake, gives himself enough space to give a turn at 3 a shot. Not quite able to make the most of it, and not inside of 4, but nonetheless, it's a full 3 at 41. Awesome skiing.
So, and also don't forget we got a vote for a skier of the day as well. Who, in your mind, is worthy of that title? Could it be someone like Whitney McClintock, who is out there competing for the first time after giving birth? Could it be someone like Ryan Canepa, who is in the lead right now, a young skier from California, halfway down, 10.25 meters? Is it the likes of Chris Parrish, who made his way into 10.25 meters as well? There are a number of different stories, and if one of them is compelling enough for you to vote on, then do so at SwissProSlalom.com, and add your vote for skier of the day. Next competitor to take to the water is Cole McCormick.
This is one of those stories that's just awesome. We got a skier. I don't know how many people know, but Cole's father, Ricky McCormick, an absolute legend of the sport, multiple-time world champion, Olympic champion. His mother, Susie McCormick, a Masters champion and former world record holder. He's water ski pedigree to the finest, and he's a Floridian, a native Floridian, but he's also a Canadian. And Cole saw an opportunity with the Canadian program, and toward the end of his junior career, shifted gears to become part of Team Canada. And I know Team Canada is just delighted to have Cole McCormick on board.
All right, here we go. This is Cole McCormick. This is looking good, looking very strong at this time. Goes in at 13 meters. And we're going to take a quick look with Wade Cox.
I'm here with Will Asher. Will, you're the defending champ. Not the best score. Certainly not the score you were looking for. You got one more round, though. Any adjustments for second round?
I don't think so. I'll probably go out and just do the same thing. I just didn't have a very good setup at 1. I lost the line completely, and then from there it was just a scrap. And then you can't really get away with that in a big old tailwind. So I don't know. I felt fine. It was just kind of got a little bit later, and then I just wasn't able to make it up on 3, and then 4 was big, and then 5 was a little slow again. So I was a little bit slow, and I wanted to be on 135, and then I actually misgripped the handle on 6. Like I kind of got my hand outside of the rope, and you can't hold it from there. So it wasn't even that big of a hit out of 6. It was just I didn't have the handle with my left hand. So it's like, okay, I didn't.
Well, that's a burn ram, but we're cheering for you for the next round. Tear it up, Willie. Back to you, Tony.
All right, then. So we've just seen Will Asher. Kind of got that Latin American general look about him, but whatever works. All right, then. Cole McCormick has run his opening pass. Now getting ready for his second pass. This is going to be 12 meters. Big shout out to the folks over at SEAP in Skarnes in Norway, where we had the pleasure of broadcasting the European Disabled and European Under-21 Championships not too long ago. Big shout to Lars Ola and the folks there, Ronnie Kaveslavongen and company.
It was fun. It was fun having you on the team.
And there We've just seen Cole McCormick go through 12 meters, making it just look easy. And he's a rising star in the sport, Drew.
Yeah, he's consistently continued to up his game, and you know, he's making 39 look like 38, and he's getting through it time after time after time, and you know, really charging at 41. He's, you know, getting deeper and deeper into the pass, it seems, every month, and he's one of those guys we're going to see get through it at some point soon.
All right, so Cole McCormick just stroking his way through that pass. And he had great performances at a couple of pro events. Let's have a look at Adam Sattermeyer's figures. 686, 3.9 to 1, based upon a weight of 174 and a 0 off of A2. So, Cole McCormick, who really acquitted himself well at the Hilltop Pro-Am not too long ago, skied well at the Malibu Open as well. Had a little bit of dip in form a couple of weeks ago at the Travers Pro Grand Prix. But right now, all that's behind him because that's 11.25 meters under his belt. Cole McCormick. And Drew, as you rightly said, Cole McCormick has great pedigree underpinning his ability out there. But not only from Ricky McCormick, but also Susie Graham as well, who was a superstar slalom herself in the 80s, early part of the 90s.
Yeah, Susie had her time at the top, and when I first made my way onto Team Canada, she was already a veteran, and you know, I got to learn a lot from Susie, and watching how she managed herself. She kind of was a pioneer of being a specialist at the World Championship level at that point in time. There really weren't a ton of specialists making teams, and you know, Susie without question was the one to beat for quite a few seasons.
And certainly when it came to slalom skis, she stayed with the old faithful for many years. That yellow EP tactic, of which she tells me she still has about 7 of them gathering dust in her attic.
Yeah, and Susie's husband Ricky was instrumental in the shaping of that ski.
There we go. Oh, and that was at 10.75 meters. Now he's going to have quite a bit of catching up to do.
That's uncharacteristic for Cole. It's a shame. I know I love that he's one of those skiers that goes out there, he lays it all on the line and goes for it every time he hits the water. So definitely stay tuned and pay attention to round 2, because he's going to be a skier charging for a spot in the final.
Yes, indeed. It could well come down to a backup score, and now he's really going to have to go hard at it in the second round. As they say en français, tout ou rien. All or nothing. So, handle up a little high, and down he goes, 1 1/2. And now as Patrice makes his way back to dock, he'll pick up our next competitor, and that next competitor comes to us from Switzerland. His name is Benjamin Stadelbauer.
Benny has what you might call the home court advantage here. Right here at home, Swiss is his family's place. It's he's trained here since he was you know, a junior, and had the privilege of watching Benny just put up some massive scores time after time after time out here, and this is going to be fun.
All right, and you may recall that a little while ago I hinted upon a skier that in my opinion is actually closer to modeling Andy Mappel's slalom style, and you're about to see him. This is Benjamin Stadelbauer. You'll see some similarities right off the get-go. Shoulder position, his ability to effectively bend his knees and compress into the turn, ability to hold his angle, and his chest and shoulders up going cross-course, and doesn't get much better than that, folks. That is Benjamin Stadelbauer, opening pass of 13. skiing all that much. So Benjamin Stadelbauer, beautiful look on that pass, and those eagle-eyed individuals are probably taking a look at our UAV flying in the background and on dockside, who appears to have undergone a little bit of cupping therapy. That is Jonathan Travers. Benjamin Stadelbauer with his second run. Rolling onto the tail of that ski. But still able to steer his way through that second pass, which is 12 meters. No worries there for him whatsoever. All right, so what do you see here, Drew?
I see just a carefully crafted technique that, produces time after time. I see great things ahead for Benny. He's strong, he's tall, and, want to see him ski, free of any inhibition and just let it rip today.
Yeah, and you do hint upon something that I was actually thinking of while you're saying that. For a skier of his ability and his technique and his prowess out there on the slalom course, it just kind of amazed me that he hasn't had more success in these types of competitions. But you just kind of get the feeling that his time's going to come, and it's going to come soon.
Yeah, he's maturing no matter what, and you develop as an athlete, and you got to develop in a lot of ways. You got the head game, the confidence, the technique, the physical. You've got all kinds of pieces that have to come together, and Benny's definitely coming together in all respects, and I think we got great things ahead, and the best thing is he's young. And he skis with a technique that he's so strong. His frame, he'll stand the test of time. And I think we're going to see a lot of really, really great seasons ahead.
And he certainly works on his equipment a whole bunch as well. I mean, he rides the Syndicate Pro, and I looked inside his little hut, which isn't too far away from here. It's actually a little bit more involved than being a hut, but he has the flex machine, calipers, drill bits, tools, whiteboard, the whole bit. I mean, he is into it 100%.
And I think that's a fair comment, but I think it's also worth mentioning that that's pretty much the whole field. If you're not an equal student of your equipment as you are with your technique and all other aspects, you're not among the best in the world and competing here today at the Swiss Pro.
All right, you are. So, Benjamin Stadelbauer. All right. So it looks like we've got some communication with Dockside. We'll return there intermittently with some interviews and points of view of our competitors. Here we go. Benjamin Stadelbauer. This is 10.75 meters. Realistically needs this pass to be competitive. He's ski number 17 of 20. Look at this. There you go. Yeah.
That's perhaps the best 39 we've seen today. That was total command out there for Benny. Just really, really acing every single turn.
Absolute total dominance of this pass. Keeping that line nice and tight as he turned in, so he had good contact with the boat immediately from the get-go. Into number 2, and that number 2 was absolutely on fire, out of this world. He is a right foot forward skier, and even number 3 was better than most people's on-site turns. Look at that. Just slides that ski around.
Yeah, Benny's one of those skiers who's so symmetrical. He doesn't have an offside. He's balanced and really great separation of upper and lower body. Just fluid and great combination of power and grace.
All right, then continuing right along. We've got Benjamin Stadelbauer on the water. About 3 skiers to go after him, and gotten broken over, and that is going to be 2 buoys.
Maybe just a bit tentative, little bit of loss of speed in the glide. Just at the end of the glide here, watch before he makes his turn in. He's shedding, and maybe just a little bit of a loss, and then I see a bit of a hesitation, a bit of a delay approaching 1. Slightly further down course than he was at 39. Not quite together well enough to be able to manage a cut out of 2, and great start, awfully close to probably what he would have liked to have seen. 1 more buoy anyway, and ups the ante to the value of the second round for Benny Stadelbauer.
All right, so got a number of people checking in. One, Mike Hazelwood. All right, Wade, what you got dockside, pal?
So thanks, Tony. I'm here with Cole McCormick. Cole, not the score you're looking for, but you got another round to go, right?
Yeah, still got another round. That wasn't really what I was looking for there. I kind of messed up a little bit at 1 ball, hung on with 2 hands a little too long, and then hips got behind me and had a bunch of speed at 2, and the tailwind just couldn't quite hold it.
And the wind seems to be up and down as it is when the wind. How was it on that 39? You said you got a bit of push?
Yeah, I mean, it picked up for my 38, so I had a pretty big headwind for my 38, and it stayed about the same for the 39. It was pretty strong tailwind, so, just kind of got to be patient, and I'll just remember that for the next round.
Yeah, man, you'll do it. We're cheering for you. Thanks, Cole.
All right, then. Thanks a lot there, Wade. And as we get ready to bring on JT, Benjamin Stadelbauer's 981 pounds of force with 2 at 39, or 2 at 41, is the lead score.
Well, taking the lead by almost 100 pounds, Benny.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a huge 2-ball.
And he is in line for that $500 bounty alongside the that ski rope from Syndicate. And we've also got prizes available for the best men's and best women's crashes as well. There's your rope tension leader, but going back to the best crashes, the winner in either the men's or the women's would win themselves an aid vest if they snag that dubious distinction.
Tony, going back to your comment earlier, the check-in from Mike Hazelwood of Great Britain. That's a multiple-time world champion, former world record holder in the jump event, also known as Will Asher's uncle. How cool is that?
Yeah, nice that he tunes in. It was no slouch on the slalom course either. I mean, I think he was European slalom champion at one time, and he actually pretty much won everything at Marine World that year. Jump, slalom, whatever other events they put on at Marine World, like about 1984 or something like that. He absolutely dominated.
Yeah, just that name, Mike Hazelwood, it's just tenacious to think of, the way he skied every time he hit the water. Just an absolute beast.
All right, and here is Jonathan Travers. Let's not forget he went in at 32 off, or 13 meters. $13-meter start for Jonathan Travers, and he got every single buoy on that particular run. And Jonathan Travers has plenty of support behind him as well. His whole family, Lalani, Jack, Christopher Travers. And we wait for him to come back into the course on the 12-meter line. And thanks to every single one that's watching us here so far.
You can hear that ski nautique coming in for JT's second pass at 12 meters.
His boat of choice, of course. This is JT. Looking good, as he should.
Team Nautique athlete, former Masters Slalom champion.
There's a 12-meter pass, looking very strong, looking in good shape. And why don't we take a quick visit with Wade Cox and find out what's going on? Wade, who do you have, sir?
Hey, guys, I'm here with Natasha Rocher. I was fairly close, from Namibia, which is in southern Africa. And so this is your home.
It is now, yes, since 2014, and I love it.
And so you're getting ready for your second round. How was the first round for you?
First round wasn't good at all. I was definitely hoping for more. Since this is my home lake, it skis amazing, so I'm definitely hoping for more in the second round.
Almost maybe sometimes more pressure at your home lake, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I was pretty nervous this morning.
Well, hey, you have fun, okay? Tear it up your second round. Thank you. Back to you.
All right, then, back right along there. That was Wade Cox with Namibian athlete Natasha Rocha, hailing out of Windhoek. And she's going to be our first skier out in round 2 of the women's competition. And that is going to be coming up pretty soon after the conclusion of round 1 of men's. This is Jonathan Travers. He's gone through 13-12. This is 11.25 meter, the purple loop. Takes a good snap on buoy number 1 and 2. He is a lefty, which means his 1-3-5 side turns are always going to be easier for him to thump. And there you go, good effort. Round all 6 buoys. Expertly driven there by Patrice Legay. And what do you see here from this aerial shot?
I see domination on that 1-3-5 side, so typical of JT. Watch for, he's a candidate for that strongest pull for sure if he, puts together one of those huge 1-3 turns at the right time. It's the same weapon that can get him through 41 when everything's clicking. So firing on all cylinders, JT's deadly, and it's going to be fun no matter what.
And JT actually helps develop the edge binding, which is actually a prize for our skier of the day. You can go to SwissProSlalom.com and vote for the skier of the day, and the athlete that garners the most votes will actually win themselves an edge binding, courtesy of Edge Bindings and JT. So who would you say would be the skier of the day so far based upon round 1? I mean, would it be a young skier like Ryan Knapper? Would it be Whitney McClintock, who's back after pregnancy? Who would you say?
I mean, I'm most impressed by Whitney. I can't believe how quickly she's come back. But, I'd like to see a bigger second round from her to seal the deal there.
All right, let's see what JT can do at 10.75. Oh, look at this. He's trying to stay calm. He's trying to stay relaxed because he knows that if he does too much in the turn, that could have ultimately affected his pass. He goes rodeo style off number 6. How?
I love it.
And he did that at the Grand Prix as well, where he whipped the rope round a little bit there to get the slack out of it. He's the only one that does that in my mind.
Again, not for the meek. JT taking total command. Nothing new for him. He knows he can manage the pass and get out the gate at 39.
All right, 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. He's just run that. He's getting ready for 41 off, 10.25 meters. As we're in the middle of a little bit of a brief rain squall. All right, we'll be back right after this.
JT 41 off. Here we are, money pass.
All right, here we go. Jonathan Travers, 10.25 meters. The rain didn't stick around for too long. And Jonathan Travers, he gets round to buoy number 2, and that is going to be enough for him, which currently puts him in a multiple way tie for 4th, along with Benjamin Stadelbauer and... yeah.
Tony, what we see here is such a big number 1 for John. You can see him just bow down with the left shoulder, gets himself maybe pinged a bit to the inside going to 2, just a touch narrow, not quite able to execute the way he wanted on 2, but he's he's set up with a solid 2 at 41 and 1 round to go.
All right then, so as it stands right now, we've got skiers such as Cale Burdick, Thomas de Gasperi, Adam Saddlemeyer, and one other person, yes, Ryan Canappa. They are all tied with 3 at 10.25 meters or 41 off. Then you go down to the next skiers that were tied with 2, and there's 3 of them. There's Benjamin Stadelbauer, Jonathan Travers, and Stephen Neveu, the very first skier out in the water.
Okay, we're coming down to what is a kind of a common theme at many of the majors around the world over the last few years. We're down to Freddie Winter, Nate Smith.
All right, let's go to the dock and meet up with Wade. Wade, what you got?
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm here with Ben Stadelbauer. Really close. Like did all the good work, ran 39. Maybe could have had a little bit better start, though, at 41.
Yeah, no, I did the hard work, and then you get to 41 and it gets harder, so it never gets easier. But I think I had a good set. I had a good feeling out there, and I think it's a start, and I hope I can build onto the next round. But yeah, close, but not quite there yet.
But probably a backup score at worst case with your 2, and maybe get a 3 or 4 next round, huh?
Yeah, no, for sure. 2 is not a bad backup. So, I mean, I got that already. And then if I can improve upon that, it'd be good. But the main key is I had a good feeling on my ski right now. And if I can bring that to the next round, I think it should be good for me at least.
Well, there you go, guys. Back to you.
So, some great skiing that we've seen so far. Some great skiing to come. Folks from Thorpe and JB Ski are cheering on their skiers, and the first of them is going to be Freddie Winter. Freddie Winter is going to be our next competitor to come. The pride of Wandsworth in London.
Freddie's your 2017 World Slalom Champion. He's also frequently the author of some serious yard sales.
Yeah, you're
always
right
laying
about
it on
that.
the line, max out, full speed, full intensity. Gonna lay it on the line no matter what. Freddie Winter.
All right, so hard to tell at this point in time who has the best crash among our men or our women at this point. They've been fairly innocuous at this time, but now we've got Freddie Winter. We'll see what happens. But he starts at 30 meters or 32 off. Now, incidentally, the top prize for the best crash for both women and men is an aid vest, courtesy of Aid Suits.
I'm not really too sure about the strategy there. I mean, Freddie gets them free anyway, so I don't see him, It'd be nice if there was something else in it for him.
You've got a point there. You've got a point there. So, now, on the starting dock, our very last competitor out in round 1 is Nate Smith. And for those of you that want to enter that competition for the slalom ski, time is fleeting. You have to get your entry in before the start of round 2. By the time that boat hits the dock for the start of round 2, your entry had better be in. Otherwise, it's too late. Here we go. Freddie Winter. This is sweet looking pass, 12 meters. All right.
I really love watching the balance there. Notice the consistency in the water brake of Freddie's ski, that D3 Ion working so well for him. He's balanced and centered and just managing to continue to move without anything really breaking the stride of the whole picture there.
So, keeping it smooth, keeping it flowing. Not looking in bad shape. Can't see too much wrong with that pass, as I'm sure all of you guys watching around the world would agree in your multitudes. So
Freddie's
glad.
another candidate for the strongest pull as well. I mean,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
2 bars definitely, may well already be, considering whose name to put on the check, and I think there's a shot at Freddie being one of the recipients here.
Yeah, might be interesting to see how much he's pulling so far, but then again, it is the opening 2 passes, so it's gonna be fairly light on the line, I would say. Once he gets to about this pass and deeper, then we're gonna hear some serious gruntage. 11.25 meters. Throwing it from side to side. Nicely done. Very, very smooth again. And that is 11.25 meters, made to look like 14.25 meters.
So we'll go next level on the psychology of what's going on for these top athletes, and the 38 pass, as much as it's a gimme for the field in the most part, it's an opportunity at what that gate's going to feel like on the critical pass, on the 10.25 41 off pass. So don't underestimate how important the 38 is in terms of the skier having the chance to really feel what the conditions are like, in that critical start for the 41.
All right, so those of you that are watching through our YouTube channel and want to get the start list, running order, and all the information on this event, SwissProSlalom.com is the place to go. And that's also the place to go to enter for our audience competition and also submit your vote for the skier of the day. There is Nate Smith on dockside. Not too far away is Natasha Rasha. So our penultimate men's skier in round 1. This is Freddie Winter. Oh, horrible turn off buoy number 1, but still managing to stay on his feet. He's there on buoy number 3. Oh, taking a big old hit there. Ooh. My shoulders would be screaming blue murder at that point, but I tell you what, Freddie Winter did well.
I'd say ball 4's got to be into the 900s in terms of strongest pull.
Took a big old hit. 6 at 10.75 meters has been confirmed. He even took a pretty sizable hit off number 1 and 2. As they say, the hits keep on coming.
So losing a bit of ground on 3 with that loose rope, and you can see him just drop into a massive turn on 4. Just textbook Freddie Winter here.
Nice little elbow slam there. But there you go. That is Freddie Winter. Now, this now is 10.25 meters. Now, 3 buoys is currently the lead, and it's held by 5 people as a tie. If he can get past that point, it will definitely boost his chances. Round number 3, can he get a piece of 4? No, and he doesn't even make a play on it.
Maybe not quite the gate Freddie was looking for. You can see him a little bit narrow. He's a little timid in that pull out. Maybe the headwind caught him a bit, but he's slow to a commitment. He manages through number 1 fairly well. A little bit of loose rope. Has to bear down to 2, but at this point he's surviving to just try to eke out a 3.
All right, yeah. So I mean, the first couple not too bad, and he just almost looked like he was content to run 3, and that would be enough to at least establish a tie-break score. But right now, as it stands, he's tied with about 5 other people. So 6 skiers have 3 at 41 off.
Well, Tony, with a whole other round remaining, there's no telling whether 3 is going to be in clear or whether it's going to come to a backup, or possibly even more than that. But one thing Freddie's got the advantage of is seed, and he will be skiing toward the latter, part of the group in the second round. So he will know definitively what the cut line is. when he hits the water for round number 2.
Right, you are, and hopefully we'll get the list. Yeah, there you go, right on time. We've got Burdick, Canapa, De Gasperi, Saddlemeyer, Winter, Neveu, Stadelmeyer, and Travers. The only person on that list who had the only 3 people on that list who didn't get halfway down, and that's Neveu, Stadelmeyer, and Travers. So.
How's it going? A2. Oh, this water's so warm.
Okay, point made from the scoring tower. Round 2 seeding will be determined for the ties in a random fashion. So,
Whenever you're ready.
Who's to say where in the group of 3s Freddie Winter will be seated in the round 2?
All right, here we go. This now is the world record holder, Nate Smith, and former 2-time world champion from 2013 and 2015. And actually, point of fact, the only 2-time back-to-back world champion in recent memory, because the others that actually had 2 world titles each had a spell in between where they didn't win it. It was the other person type deal, if you see where I'm getting at.
Nate came on the scene, and since coming on the scene, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, he's consistently been, the one to beat. He's put up more successful 6 at 41 scores than the rest of the athletes combined, and really is poetry out there. He's a modern day model of textbook slalom skiing. A blend of the classical style with a lot of the efficiencies of what's required out there today.
All right then. And just to remind you good folks again, as if I haven't reminded you enough times before, your entry for the audience prediction prize needs to be in before the start of round 2. If you are waiting to submit your entry in for those audience prizes, which is 2 slalom skis, one of them a D3 Ion and the other a Connolly GTR, you must get your entry in before the start of round 2. By the time that boat makes it back to the dock for round 2, your entry had better be in at SwissProSlalom.com. 12 meters. Velvety smooth. Looking good. And so does our boat, as a matter of fact. Our unique bow cam being provided to you by Ravenol. German-engineered motor oil. Got to get it.
Great to see Ravenol supporting the Swiss Pro here this weekend, along with the lengthy list of great patrons here, great supporters of the sport. None more than Ski Nautique Boats, a mainstay here at Swiss.
All right, so let's see what we got. That's Nate Smith. He has run through the opening 2 passes, 13 and 12. I think actually, when was the last time we actually saw someone actually ski in on 14.25 meters for their opener pass? It seemed like forever ago. Actually, the last person to ski 14.25 meters as their opener was Jamie Calhoun. Here we go.
Such an early line in the course. Just able to create such speed and carry it through the finish of the arc.
And he transitions his weight from the front to the back very, very efficiently. I mean, a lot of people that would attempt to do that will probably probably tend to overdo it and lose balance. But he just has the simple knack of being able to do that and still gain angle across course and go off to the races.
He's got a very intuitive technique. Nate just knows where he needs to be and is one step ahead of the game in terms of moving there.
All right, so originally out of McCordsville, Indiana, but a resident in this part of the world, does make the odd trip back, to slalom out there, and actually recently returned from California after attending his, I believe, his sister's wedding, as a matter of fact. So he hasn't had an awful lot of time on the water in recent days. But we'll see. We'll see what occurs with Nate Smith. There are just certain skiers out there that don't rely upon an awful lot of practice. It's nice to have it, but sometimes, you're in situations, timing and what have you, scheduling, where you just have to be reliant upon your own natural technique, your own intuition to get you through.
Well, one of the great things about this event, Tony, is with best of 2 rounds format. There's a fair amount of skiing before the final, and you really need 1 out of 2. You need 1 out of the first 2 rounds to be great, and look for Nate to have an eye toward going beyond 3. Who's to say whether or not that can actually happen here? But we're going to see. To be able to skip that logjam and go beyond 3 is definitely something I would be betting Nate has his sights on.
So, Nate Smith, 3-time winner of this event, won the event in 2016, 2017, and 2018. And coming back at 10.25 meters. It's just hard to believe that the pass that we just saw there was 10.75 meters. When you look back at the history of slalom skiing, the first 11.25 meter pass was completed in about 1980 by a rather unknown skier named John McElroy. It took about the best part of 2 decades before 10.75 meters started to get cleared. And it's only within about, within the last 5 years that 10.25 was, you started to get scores into 9.75 meters on, I wouldn't say a regular basis, but at least you had some skiers that were getting into that line length. Here we go now. This is 10.25 meters, more than 3. A piece of 4 here will give him the lead, and it is. Look at this. Oh, he tried to make a play on 5. Did he get the ski outside? We're going to have to go to our VAO to take a look at this. A video assistant official.
I'm sure Nate may be kicking himself. Almost a safety on ball 4 there. He looked well on his way to running it here. Not the very best one he's ever had, but gosh, is he ever on time at 2? Just lightning quick, leaving the buoy line, and in great shape, making a finish on 3, and looked well positioned to finish the pass here, entering 4, but then just got on the tail and didn't get that contact and connection immediately out of the buoy line. Looks like he got his feet outside of 5.
Okay, we're going to go frame by frame here to make sure from our internal boat view to see. This is going to provide us with a clearer perspective. We have multiple angles of this performance, exclusive to TWBC. Number 4. That's enough for the lead. Now, let's go frame by frame here. Okay, so what do you call that? 4. Okay, didn't get outside buoy number 5. So, that is a conclusion of round 1. Let me repeat to you once again, for you folks watching at home or indeed are on the shore side here and have access to the internet on your cell phone. If you want to enter the audience prize competition. You have until the time it takes for that boat to refuel and make its way back to the dock for the start of round 2 to enter. There is your leaderboard in round 1. Nate Smith, your leader, with 4 at 10.25 meters. Then we've got 5-way tie for second place between Burdick, Canapa, De Gasperi, Saddlemeyer, Winter. Then we've got 3-way tie for 7th with 2 between Nephew, Stadelmeyer, and Jonathan Travers.
Look for those skiers, Tony, in that logjam tie for 7 with 2 to be getting more than 2 in the round in the next round. That's where we're going to see a big push is skiers wanting to find their way clear into the top 8.
All right, so just as a reminder, we got prize on offer for the biggest crash as well in the women's and men's competition. No real candidate has come through on either one, and those competitors who are chasing for one of those last spots going through to next round, that's where we're gonna possibly see it happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue on with the Swiss Pro Slalom right after this.
Ever since I've been skiing on the D3 Ion S, I really like how the sweet spot is an inch bigger than the Evo, which has given me a lot more predictability in the course, whether it's calm or rough conditions. The way the ski feels makes me excited for the upcoming season.
I think a characteristic that most skiers can appreciate about the Ion is its consistency and predictability. I feel pretty confident coming into the tournament season that I can show up and score what I'm capable of because of this ski.
One of the things I have always noticed in my 11 years of riding D3 skis is that they are some of the most predictable and consistent skis that I have ever ridden. What I like most about this ski is that it's fast across the wake, but due to the narrower forebody from the front foot forwards, it allows the ski to slow down in the edge change, as well as let the tip of the ski carve a tight turn around the buoy, resulting in more angle out of the backside of the buoy.
Couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, 'cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Baby, I was born for this. I was born
right then, folks, welcome back to the Swiss Pro Slalom. Now, here's the latest news. For those of you that want to enter the audience prize competition, you have until the time it takes for that boat to return to the dock to get your entry in. Zach Warden, he's got his entry in. I've got my entry in, and I'm sure about over 400 of you have entered as well for a chance to win a brand new slalom ski, where it's a 66-inch D3 Ion signed by Nate Smith and Freddie Winter, two world champions on one ski. Cannot beat that. Or a 66-inch Conley GTR signed by world champion Manon Costard. Some great prizes there, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they work if you got a couple world champs riding them. So, and then to have their signature to boot, it's pretty cool.
Speaking of boots, take a look at this. Take a look at this. Now, if you vote on the skier of the day, if the athlete gets the most votes, they get this.
That's the hard shell I run. That's the, in my opinion, one of the best ones on the market, and they make a great hard shell and a lot of control, and you'd be a happy camper to be riding that thing on your ski.
Yes, indeed. So, we got two things going on. We're interactivity on SwissProSlalom.com. We're absolutely going nuts here with the interactivity. We've got audience prizes. We've got skier prizes. We've got the running orders. We got everything you can possibly need, including the live webcast that is front and center at SwissProSlalom.com. SwissProSlalom.com. Now, that boat is making its way towards the end of the lake. I'm just trying to time it because I actually have the kill switch on the audience prize competition. So when that boat hits the starting dock to pick up Natasha Rocha, which will start round 2, then that will be it.
All righty.